What's up, you guys? What's up? When you come in, make sure you like the live. Hey, me, what's up? Sorry, I kept moving the time. I had I had two important phone calls I had to make. Sorry, y'all. It's not easy. Me going live. I was so much to do. Sorry, y'all. We were supposed to be outside to hey. Hey, wait, what's up? Sorry, you guys. I had to move the live back because I had two important calls to make. Two. So hopefully this weekend I can have something really good for y'all. But since since the evil eye is watching, diabolical ears are listening, let me confirm everything. And hopefully maybe Saturday or Sunday, I can have something really, really good for you because we need to have a proper live on self-defense. Okay. We need to have a proper live on self-defense, and hopefully we can have the right people in the room helping with that, because to me, Marlene, it's clear as day that it's self-defense. Okay. Clear as day it's self-defense. So get in here, y'all. So what are we talking about? Oh, yes. Today, we're going to be talking about how exactly does Austin, Hunter, any of these people, how exactly do they have the legal authority to remove anybody? Okay. Because we're going to talk about that. Okay. Who gave Austin, who gave Hunter the legal authority to remove anybody in the rain, especially, and also to remove anybody with force? This is crazy. Hey, RK, what's up? I came in early so we could save so I can start warming up the room, because usually it takes a while for people to get my my notifications. Okay. But today we're going to talk about where did Austin, where did Austin think that he had the legal authority to remove anybody? Number one. Number two, who gave him the authority, the legal authority to remove anybody? What are we even talking about? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's their tent. You're sitting under the wrong tent. If they tell you to move, you should move. Oh, thank you. Okay, if they tell you to move, you should move. Well, that's not that easy. Okay? That's just not how it goes. Just not how it goes. It's their tent. It's not their tent. It's their school's tent, actually. But hey, details matter, you guys. Details matter. So today, because I was like, okay, I think we should look at eviction laws in Texas. Okay? How do you evict people in Texas? If you want to evict anybody, because I'm they're trying, because it's their tent, they're telling you to leave, right? They're physically grabbing you to make you leave, and to make you leave in the rain. I'm to me, it sounds like an eviction, don't it? It sounds like an eviction. So I said to myself, well, let's look at eviction laws in Texas, especially Collin County, Texas. Okay, so that is what we're going to do today. This is what we're going to do today. I saw another video. This man, I don't know if he has early onset dementia, but I saw another video with Judge Joe Brown, but that's going to be another video because I got to do it separately. But Judge Joe Brown was like, oh, this is sounding like trespassing. I'm like, what are you even talking about? What is this man is so demented? What is he even talking about? Okay. But tomorrow I will do a video about Judge Joe Brown. That's what is that? He's so crazy. How can you be trespassing at a stadium where you are signed up to compete, fully dressed in your school uniform? What is going on here? Trespassing how? What are we even talking about? Damn, this man, dang. I think some people, I really do think some people, especially some black people, especially some black men, I feel like them seeing people giving money to Karmelo, it really has them triggered. I think a lot of people are jealous. I really do. I'm a lot of people are jealous. Why are they giving this little black boy money? Maybe even why are they giving this little ninja money? People are so jealous. I'm damn. Oh, it sounds more like trespassing. I'm how can it be trespassing? It's so there's trespassing at the park. What the heck? What is going on here? Okay. It's at a freaking stadium. It's a stadium. They were there, he was there to compete. So how can he be trespassing? And they're so damn crazy. And I'm and we also have to make the fine distinction between you can own a tent, but you don't own the bleachers. So just move your tent. I move your tent. Well, who's stopping you from moving your tent? Did anybody stop them from moving their tent? They don't own the, like whatever they, like wherever they have their tent located. They don't own that piece of land. They don't have a permit. They don't have a deed. They don't own that piece of land. Hey Janet, what's up? I'm warming up the room until everybody gets here. Okay. I am warming up the room until everybody. And when you come in, please like the live as soon as you come in here, child. Okay. Please like the live as soon as you come in here. Right? Like the live. Make sure you like the live. I can't see the light. So, oh, thank you. I think I look youthful. Thank you. I was like, who is Vicky Dillers? I don't know. Who is that? Like, it's like, wow. But you know what? This is really making me like, this is, is she supporting him or not? Like, is she, I didn't even like her title. She didn't free Karmelo. she lowered his bail. I mean, as you should have, because you can take them to court. Like, people don't realize that all this stuff, if it's not handled properly, I'm sure it's ground for like an appeal. No, she's part of Black media. I'm like, was she on? I mean, I saw Phil. I know like Phil is on that. Like Phil is supporting Karmelo. But you guys, hopefully this Saturday or Sunday, I can have a really great live for y'all. Hey, you know, what's up? What's going on? Just warming up the room. You guys, please, when you come in, make sure you like the live, okay? Make sure as soon as you come in, you like the live, okay? So if I have 18 people, hopefully I should have like 18 likes, okay? Please like the live, y'all. Thank you very much. So, unbelievable. Hey, Ruba, what's up? Like the live, Ruba, like the live. Because I was like, I really want to know. Because I'm like, if they tell you to move, you got to move. If they tell you to move, you got to move. You're sitting under the wrong tent. If they tell you to move, you got to move. And I'm like, it's sounding like, and if you don't move. Yeah, if you looked at his page, what is it? Give, send, go. Hey, Elena, what's up? Okay. Oh, if he tells you to move, you got to move. If he tells you nicely or if he doesn't say it to you nicely, you got to move. But I'm like, how come nobody is talking about who gave Austin the legal authority to tell anybody to leave? He's a fellow 17-year-old. He's a fellow student. Like, he's a fellow high school student. Okay. So I'm like, I would like to know who gave Austin the legal authority to remove anybody orally, physically, especially in the rain, y'all. I have questions because I'm like, this is sounding like an eviction. This is sounding like an eviction. Okay. So I said, okay, let's look at the eviction laws in Texas. All right. And more specifically, we're going to look at eviction laws in Collin County, Texas. I'm like, Austin doesn't have any, to me, he doesn't have any authority. I mean, he doesn't have any authority to remove anybody. He doesn't have any authority to tell anybody to move. Oh, of course. I saw the daily, what's it called? Daily, whatever, New York, some Daily Mail. Oh, they moved into a $900,000 home. I'm like, okay. Like, what's the problem? Like, they're so mad. I think all these white folks are just mad that today Black people have money. Okay, this technology that they created, the social media networks they created, is not just connecting them to spread their foolishness, but it's also connecting people of other cultures, other ethnicities that they've always bullied and they've never had a chance to come together. I'm like, okay, 900,000. Like, okay, like what the heck? Did they pay for the house? They're renting the house. Okay. All that to say, oh, stop. They want to make it seem, oh, you know, look, they're living large on your money. They're living large. They're so pathetic. They are truly so pathetic. Yeah, Halo Journey. They're so pathetic. I'm like, oh, hey Abundance, what's up? Oh, they moved to a $900,000 house. I'm like, oh, well, it's $100,000 short of $1 million. I would have picked a $2 million house. I'm like, what in the world? They're so pathetic. They are truly, truly insane. If you come in, make sure you like the live. We'll start in like 10 seconds, okay? They're so crazy. If you're in here, yeah, they dox the family addresses. They do too much. They dox even the judge. They put her address out there. They're just insane. They are really, really insane. I'm like, imagine. So you believe Karmelo's in the wrong, but you're doxing even the judge. So you don't even have faith in the court system. Hey, boo. He said, also talking about got a new car. Well, guess what? They probably need to get a new car because the make and model, not to mention tag number, is probably out there somewhere. And I'm like, who cares? Instead of asking why does Austin family have 2 GoFundMes, they out here policing Black people. They're so bored. They're just so bored. Who cares? Let them hate. They're so damn stupid. Like, they gonna really lose their mind when that thing goes up to like $2 million. Like, when they raise $2 million, what are they gonna do? Start crying? They're so miserable. All right, you guys. So let's get the show started. So today, yeah, who cares? Exactly. Like, oh, they're so pathetic. Like, did they keep up when they were tracking Zimmerman and all his family stuff? When they raised $1 million, or Luigi's family, they raised $1 million. Don't mind these folks. They're so miserable. Okay, so today's video, we're going to talk about, did Austin, Metcalf, and even Hunter, any of those kids, okay, these 17-year-olds, did any of them have the legal authority to tell Karmelo to move? That's number one. Did any of them have the legal authority to forcefully tell Karmelo, like, to grab his stuff, especially in the rain, and to forcefully move him from his seat, right? Because I will say this, right? For me, it's a no, right? So let's talk about this. Here's the venue, right? Make sure you can look at the venue right here. And this is the argument I'm making. The stadium is public property, okay? The stadium does not belong to the Metcalf, okay? The benches do not belong to the Metcalf. That's the one that's my third point. The tent that they're talking about is not even their private property. The Metcalf did not purchase this tent. That's the yellow and brown one is right there. The tent belongs to the school. And it's not property of the Metcalf family. They didn't pay for this. Okay? They did not pay for this. So I'm like, if anybody could have even exerted like ownership of the tent, at least it would have to be the principal or the assistant principal, right? These are just students. And I also don't believe that when they left school with the tent, that anybody charged them with being gatekeepers, bodyguards, or whatever of the tent, right? The tent is their school's property. It is not their private property. Amen. It really does matter, y'all. The benches do not belong to the Metcalf, right? The benches are part of the stadium. There's, like, you see, a bunch of benches. You can put your whatever, right? Also, their tent, having their tent up there, do they even have a permit for their tent? Do they even have a permit for their tent? To put their tent up? No, because it's a courtesy of the school or the stadium people. It's a courtesy. Okay, put up your tent because it's probably bad weather or maybe it's too hot. I don't know. Just put up your tent, right? But putting up your tent somewhere does not automatically give you domain or ownership of that area. No. It's a courtesy. It's a courtesy, right? So not to say, well, you're sitting under our tent. Point of correction. It's the school's tent, not your tent. It is not private property. It is your public school's property. And this tent was bought with taxpayers' dollars from people's homeowners, okay, home property taxes. Your daddy didn't pay for this, okay? Your daddy did not pay for this. The benches, your father also didn't pay for the benches, nor did your mother, right? So I'm going to play a video from the pastor, the goofy pastor from yesterday, John. And then I'm going to play the part again where Austin talks about how Karmelo was sitting there and they asked him to move. And then you started talking reckless and my brother stepped in and he asked him to move. And then he grabbed his book bag because that's a forceful eviction under the rain. But after that, I'm going to have this other guy play. I'm going to play a video where this man explains how to properly do an eviction in Texas. Then we'll look at how to do an eviction in Collin, Texas. Does that make sense, you guys? So you got like 4 steps to go through, right? First, the goofy pastor. Second is going to be Hunter. Third, the video. And then third, we'll talk about, like, we'll look at what AI says about how to do an eviction in Texas. And we'll look at how to do an eviction in Collin County, Texas. Sounds like a plan? Make sure you thumbs up the video. Okay, so make sure. Oliver, what are you even talking about? What are we talking about? What is this person? Who is this person? Anyway, this is just foolishness. Also, and I'm warning all the whites out here who are watching this, please behave. Yesterday when I did my live, me, Marlene, I'm a very chill person. I truly believe in freedom of speech. I really do. I think people should be able to express themselves. I think people should be able to share their point of view. And also, I think it makes the live more interesting when people have different point of views, right? So that's usually how I do my stuff. But yesterday, there were a few whites in the chat like, oh, I'm going to strike your channel. I'm going to strike your channel. And so I have decided that I'm no longer going to extend the courtesy, because you let people speak their mind. But when you speak your mind, because they don't like it, they want to strike your channel. So when you converse in the chat as a white person, I will ask you to be mindful how you talk. If you don't know how to be respectful, you don't know how to properly engage, politely engage, right? And find an intelligent way to share your perspective, I will have to block you from my channel. I have to ban you from my channel. I don't like doing that. That's crazy. Like, people should be able to speak their mind. But I have come to realize yesterday that there are some white people who believe that they can say whatever they want to say. They can fully exercise their freedom of speech, but you can't speak your mind unless you say things that make them happy in their bias, bigotry, racism against Black people. It's just not going to happen over here, okay? There are a bunch of other Black conservatives who are signed to Charlie Kirk, okay, and Turning Point USA. You are more than welcome to go watch their thing. So, Oliver, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you, this is my second warning. I deleted your first comment. This is your second comment. You write ghetto kid and thing like that, you will be banned from my channel. You have a choice to make. I'm going to delete this comment. You write another crazy comment, you will be blocked. You, the devil, whatever you're writing. Okay. All right. So you got to go. You can't conduct yourself. Who's the devil? Like, what's all this? Austin's is the devil. Karmelo is the ghetto. Sir, you got to go. You're uncivilized. Me, I believe that Austin was the aggressor. First of all, I believe that Hunter started this. Hunter and whoever he was with. For me, Hunter, he started this. And because he started it, he got his brother involved. I believe that they were moving on some bully energy. I really do. I believe that Hunter was the aggressor. I believe that Austin was an aggressor. But that does not make him the devil. You are insane. Nor is Karmelo a ghetto kid. You sound crazy. You sound crazy. And once again, where were the adults? Where were the adults? Security, police, coaches, principal, you name it. Where were the adults? So once again, people have to know how to converse. I'm a ban people, child. I'm not playing. I am not playing. Okay? So let's start with the first video, my people. Let's go. Let's start the show. We've been talking for too long. So let's start with this video with John Chukwu. Well, he's crazy behind. Let's go.
Only sit in areas that are designated for you to sit at. Clap your hands. Here's another thing. And when you are told to move, whether nicely or in what you might call an unkind tone, if you are in the wrong place, you should get your rear end up and go walk to another section and sit there where you have been designated to sit at. A big hand clap goes there.
Okay, whatever. Sure, whatever. So this big idiot, this big idiot is telling people that if you are, first, when you go to the track meet, you are designated. I don't even know if he even asked, if he asked the stadium people if they had designated areas for people. It's a stadium. These people are a few months from being 18. They're 17. They're a few months from being 18. These are seniors. So you would expect people to just know how to govern themselves. It is also raining. You would expect people who are about to be 18, athletes, captain of their football team, track team, jiu-jitsu team, I don't know, to be accommodating towards each other in the rain, right? Then he says, if you are told to move, but then he fails to say, who should tell me to move? A fellow student? What authority does a fellow student have to tell me to move. And he says, oh, even if they talk to you nicely or horribly, but who is a fellow student to even disrespect me? I'm 17, you're 17. Who are you to exercise authority over me? Go get your coach. I'm 17, you're 17. Who are you to even disrespect me or talk to me any way you see fit? Why? Your mama didn't raise you right? We're both 17. So talk to me like your peer and be respectful. You don't have to be disrespectful to get something out of people, you know? Ever heard of the adage that says you attract more bees with honey than vinegar? Right? So now, I'm going to play. Of course he does. Exactly. She said he played football himself. He knows better. He's literally tap dancing for the pale skins. Make it make sense. So now, let's go here to a video of Hunter. And we're going to see if he tells us who told him that, what authority did he have? Who gave him the authority? Who gave his brother the authority to say, y'all have to remove someone? And first of all, you have to ask them. You have the authority to ask somebody to move. Number two, you have the authority to physically move someone, like grab a person. Who gave these 17-year-olds all this authority? I am so confused. So let him tell you what happened, y'all. Let him talk.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent.
Okay, so he's saying our tent. It's not even his tent. As you can see here, is the tent, y'all. The tent is right here. Warriors, because they go to Memorial High School. Yeah, Memorial High School, their teams are called Warriors. Okay, so it's not even their private property. He's saying it's because he's saying our tent. No, it's your school's tent. It's not a tent that your daddy paid for. Okay, it's not a tent that your daddy paid for. It's not a tent that your mother paid for. It's not a tent that your grandparents paid for. It is Memorial High School's tent. And because even you yourself, you're a student, you get to also use the tent. Was anybody doing any harm to the tent? Damaging the tent? No. When you guys left school that day, or whenever you had the tent, whoever took the tent from school, was anybody charged with the executive order to be the almighty protector of a tent? No. No. This tent probably not more than $100. This is not an expensive tent made and all draped out Versace. It's not even a Versace tent. This is a tent you can buy at Walmart. And most, because it has the logo of the school, maybe it's like $150, $200. It's not even that expensive. There's nothing so serious about this tent. So it's not your tent. It is your school's tent. The school paid for it. So if truly and honestly, anybody should have an issue with who sits under that tent, principal, assistant principal, you are not a figurehead of your school. You are a student at your school. You are an athlete at the school. You are not even in charge of the school. At your school, you have no authority. You're a fellow student. There you go. Right? If at least the principal took issue, that's one thing. If the assistant principal took issue, that's another thing. If even the coach took issue, because, okay, like that's my equipment, I'm in charge of my equipment, I can kind of see that. You are a fellow student. Team too much. I repeat, team too much. I repeat, team doing way too much for something that is not even private property. It is the school's property. It's not your property. And the bleachers are also not your property. He was sitting under the tent. He was sitting on the bench that belonged to the stadium. You didn't pay for the bench, nor did you even pay for the tent. And I said it before, because the tent also was not drilled into the ground, y'all could have folded your tent and moved somewhere else. And that's important. That's really important. Why, instead of trying to physically extract Karmelo, they should have just moved their tent. It matters. And I will tell you what later, it matters. Okay? Let the boy say it again.
And what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Austin grabbed his backpack. So you heard the boy say it, right? He said Austin, the one who's deceased, grabbed his backpack. My dears, Do you agree with me that this sounds like a forceful eviction? In the rain, by the way. Do you agree with me that this sounds like a forceful eviction? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. All right, my next video. I got time today. I sure do have time today. Now, let's watch this video from ABL. That's right. That's right here.
Local news out there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Tonight, we have new information from the deadly stabbing at a high school track meet.
Since 5 o'clock, Frisco police released the arrest report that details the moment officers arrived at the scene. The arresting officer writes when he reported he had an alleged suspect. The officer said Karmelo Anthony said he did it.
He confessed, right? Karmelo confessed. Okay.
According to the arrest report, the tragic event began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell.
Okay. Where was he? Why was he sitting there? It was raining. This also matters. We need to ask ourselves these questions, right? Number one, who owns the tent? Okay. Because I think we have to remind some people that they are no longer living in those dirty, filthy, barbarian, lawless hamlets in England. Okay, we are in a first world country. We are in a country with laws. We have laws in America, you know. We're not in these goofy hamlets, these lawless hamlets of Oxfordshire. Okay, we are in America. We are in a first world country, a country full of laws. So number one, who owns the tent? Right? Number two, who conferred, okay, upon Austin, Lane, the authority to engage in a forceful eviction under the rain? Right? Number three, who owns the bleachers? My Lord. Right? So, number one, who owns the tent? Right? Number two, who conferred upon Austin the authority to engage in a forceful eviction under the rain? Number three, who owns the bleachers? Okay, who owns the bleachers? Here are the bleachers, y'all. Here are the bleachers. Who owns them? Right? Are the bleachers? Okay. Okay, well, there you go. The residents of Frisco. There you go. Okay, who owns the tent? He was sitting under our tent. No, he was sitting under your high school's tent. It's not private property, right? Your daddy didn't pay for this. Your mama didn't pay for this. Your grandparents on both sides did not pay for this, nor did you and your brother pay for this, right? Number two, who conferred upon Austin the authority? I should have even said the legal authority to engage in a forceful eviction under the rain. All right, now let's move on. Let's go back to the video again. Where's the video? This one. Sorry, I lost my place, y'all. Okay. So let's play it again.
Suspect. The officer said Karmelo Anthony said he did it. According to the arrest report, the tragic event began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell and being told to move.
Okay.
A witness.
They told him to move. He said he was told to move. So I repeat, who conferred upon Austin the authority to engage in a forceful eviction? Matter of fact, what authority? Let me write this. Number four. What legal, what legal authority, okay, did Hunter, Austin, and anyone else from Memorial High School, yes, have to even ask Karmelo to move in the rain? Let me make sure I fix this. I don't need no spelling errors right now. What legal authority did Hunter, Austin, and anyone else from Memorial High School have to even ask Karmelo to move in the rain? There you go. I got questions, y'all. Bring out y'all didn't take this seriously. Y'all gotta take this really, really seriously. You need to take out your notebooks, okay? Take out your notebooks, pens, pencils. I don't know. We're in class, y'all. We are in class. We are seriously in class. I repeat, number one, who owns the tent? Let me show you the tent one more time. So here's the tent. I repeat, who owns the tent? Okay. Number two, who conferred upon Austin? I've got the legal authority to engage in a forceful eviction under the rain. Okay. Where's number three? Number three, who owns the bleachers at the stadium? Who owns the bleachers? Here are the bleachers, y'all. Here are the bleachers. Who owns the bleachers? And mind you, we're not even talking like when you go to a basketball game at a state, like, you know what I'm saying? Or you go to a big football game at the arena and they have like these suites and stuff, like people pay like owner suites and things like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like these fancy suites, like $15,000, $20,000, right? No, these are just goofy ass bleachers in open air. Okay. Who owns the bleachers? Number four, what legal authority did Hunter, Austin, and anyone else, like students, right, from Memorial High School, have to even ask Karmelo to move? ... Especially in the rain, right? Okay. Number five. Does one set of 17-year-old athletes have more legal authority over another 17-year-old athlete simply because he goes to a different school? Okay. Number five. Does one set of 17-year-old athletes have more legal authority over another 17-year-old athlete simply because he goes to a different school? I have questions. Let me repeat all of my questions. Number one, Memorial High School tent, who owns the tent? Number two, who conferred upon Austin the authority to engage in a forceful eviction under the rain? Okay. Number three, who owns the bleachers? Number four, what legal authority did Hunter, Austin, and anyone else from Memorial High School, like as students, right, have to even ask Karmelo to move in the rain, right? Number five, does one set of 57-year-old athletes have more legal authority over another 17-year-old athlete simply because he goes to a different school? Here are my questions, y'all. Please take your time, open your notebook, stick a piece of paper, and write down your answers because I really have questions. So let's go back. Okay. So let's do it again.
We have new information from the deadly stabbing at a high school track meet.
Since 5 o'clock, Frisco police released the arrest report that details the moment officers arrived at the scene. The arresting officer writes when he reported he had an alleged suspect. The officer said Karmelo Anthony said he did it. According to the arrest report, the tragic event began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell and being told to move. A witness told police Anthony immediately opened his bag and reached in, telling the victim, "Touch me and see what happens." When the victim pushed him, witnesses say Anthony pulled a knife from the bag and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest.
Let's pause right here. Now, the news, they're not telling the full story. This is pretty much what happened, but there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more that may add some context, okay? Let's go to People, and we're going to scroll down a little bit in the article. The affidavit also details just how quickly things escalated between Metcalf and Anthony. An eyewitness told police that Metcalf asked Anthony to move from out under the tent that had been set up for members of his high school track team on that field that day. Anthony then reached into his bag, according to the eyewitness, and told Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." The eyewitness said Metcalf touched Anthony, at which time Anthony allegedly told him to punch him and see what happens. According to the affidavit, Metcalf then went to physically move Anthony, which is when Anthony allegedly pulled a knife out of his bag, stabbed Metcalf in the chest, and fled from the tent. Now, this is what it says right here. Okay, I'll link to it. This is a real thing. Okay, like, I'm not making this up. The local news, I got sources. So look, let me just say this before we get back to the video. I'm sitting under a tent at a high school track meet because it's raining. There's no assigned seats at a high school track meet. If you come up to me and tell me to move, you're trying to bully me.
Exactly. Let's stop it right there. Now, I'll repeat my questions again. Let the boy say it again. Let him say it again. Because I'm still trying to understand, like, where does this young man think he has all this authority to tell people to move? I really have questions. And then they're going to do it physically. Not even call the coach. They're not going to call the police. Not going to call security. No, they're going to do it. As 17-year-olds, they're going to proceed with a forceful eviction. Okay. Let him talk about it. Let him do it. Let's go.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." And he's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay. All right. So we already know who the aggressors are. Now, I have this one video I want to play for you guys because this is real, y'all. This is real. So this guy made a video called "The Eviction Process in Texas: Laws for Landlords, Property Managers, and Tenants." So maybe Austin and Hunter, they think they own the tent, or maybe they're property managers of the tent, that goofy ass $100 tent. Okay. All of this over a goofy ass, flimsy ass $100 tent. Lord, poverty, child. Poverty is something, huh? Anyways, so let's listen over here, y'all.
Now, I'm not sure if this is still in effect today or if it was updated at some point, but allegedly it came from a time when ranchers disputed over open ranges versus fencing off their land. And so instead of addressing who was right, the law just prevented ranchers from cutting each other's fences by making it illegal to carry wire cutters. Now, much like every other state, Texas eviction laws vary from county to county, and this is in terms of proceedings, formatting requirements, etc., etc. Now, despite that, they all follow the same general process, which is fill out the forms, serve the tenant, attend the trial, and wait for judgment.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, so let's even assume that it's your tenant, you can evict somebody. Per Texas, Texas has a process. You have to fill out the form, you got to serve the tenant, attend the trial, and wait. People are so funny, y'all. We have to remind these people that they are no longer in their lawless hamlets, okay, in England, okay? We are in America. We are in a country of laws. This is 2025. We are in a country of laws. Like, we have laws out here, okay? We have processes. We have procedures. Just because you think you're in the right doesn't mean that you don't get to follow the law, okay? Because it keeps everybody safe. And in this case, alive. Let's go.
Follow the same general process, which is fill out the forms, serve the tenant, attend the trial, and wait for judgment. Every eviction process is different and completely dependent on the lease/rental agreement signed by the tenant and the landlord. So it's always best to exercise meticulous file keeping to avoid errors that could be exploited by the tenant. Now, this video will give you a detailed summary to refer to when you are evicting a tenant. Just make sure to confirm procedures with your county to make sure the entire process goes as smoothly as possible. And please remember, I am not an attorney. I did not go to law school. So if you have any questions about your specific case, I would highly recommend you contact an attorney in your area to help you out.
And then, so like when we're done with this video, we're going to look at Collin County, Texas eviction laws, okay? But this was a good summary. Let's go.
Now, rent is usually considered late a day past its due date. A grace period may be available if it is stated in the lease/rental agreement. But before a landlord can start the eviction process, they are required to give the tenant an official written notice to vacate.
Okay, what is that? Before you can evict a tenant, you are required to do what? To give a written what? Let them say it again. These people are crazy. They really think they're back in their lawless, like, hamlets. Barbarians.
Process, they are required to give the tenant an official written notice to vacate.
A written notice to vacate. So let's even assume it's your property. Can you just then proceed to just grab somebody and just throw them out because it's your property? No. It says written notice. We're going to remind these white people that we are no longer in their lawless, muddy, barbaric, filthy ass hamlets in Europe. We are in America in 2025. We live in a country of laws. Even if it's your property, there is a proper way to evict somebody in Texas. You don't threaten people. You don't just proceed to grab people. No. In Texas, there are laws. There are procedures that have to be followed. So if you want to evict a tenant, you have to do what? You got to evict a written notice. Oh, that the what's the name, Hunter Austin, the Metcalf people, did they give Karmelo a written notice of eviction? Okay, y'all, white people are crazy. It's like they write these laws and the other whites don't read the laws. It's so bizarre.
Vacate. This is also known as a 3-day notice to pay or quit. Now, if the
Okay, it's called 3-day notice to pay or quit. Let's go.
tenant does pay that rent within those 3 days, then the eviction process does not continue. If the tenant is unable to pay, then the landlord reserves the right to offer them a second chance. In the state of Texas, landlords are not obligated to offer a second chance. Once the 3 days are up, they can proceed with the eviction process immediately. Now, landlords can charge tenants a late fee, but they must provide a grace period of at least 2 days. The late fee provision also has to be stated within the lease/rental agreement. The agreement has to be upheld by both the tenant and the landlord for the entire duration of the tenant's stay. Now, keep in mind that agreements may vary from tenant to tenant, but if a tenant does violate any terms from the lease agreement, the landlord must issue a 3-day notice to cure violations or move out. If the tenant resolves the issues on time, then the eviction process does not continue. Some of these lease violations may include staying longer than indicated on the lease, disturbing other tenants with loud activity,
Okay, and disturbing other tenants with loud activity, right? Let Hunter talk again. Hunter, come back. Let Hunter talk again. Let him say it. Let him say it. Let him talk.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent.
Okay. What do you say? Before I knew his name, this kid was sitting under our tent. Does that cause a disturbance? No. Now, do you going up to him, starting some foolishness when you have no legal authority, start some disturbance? Yes. Sitting is not a disturbance. Unless you want to be disturbed. It's no different than like sitting at the bus station at the park, whatever, right? That's not a disturbance. He didn't disturb you. But maybe his complexion disturbed you. Were you raised to be a racist? Because I don't think his Centennial jersey disturbed you, right? Well, Thomas said, students shall not coerce an individual to act through the use of threats of force, fight or scuffle, engage in bullying. Oh, well, you see, even Thomas went and found this. He said he was sitting there. We played this thing. I played this thing so much now. I'm so tired. Did he say he was being bullied? Did Karmelo take anything from them? Was Karmelo being lied? Some white people say he was listening to drill music. Was he listening to drill music? Okay. Was he harassing anybody? Did he bother anybody? Did he do anything to make anybody feel uncomfortable or fearing for their safety? No. Right? Of course, Karmelo. Of course. Okay. So let him say it again. This is crazy. Let him say it again.
Your mom told me that you were there.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." And he's like,
My brother stepped in. Who asked him to step in? Who is he? He said, "You're another student." Okay.
me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay. Austin grabbed his backpack. Right. And Thomas, thank you so much for being honest. Thank you. This is when you can say, okay, you're not racist. Because you see, Thomas said, students shall not coerce an individual to act through the use of threat, of force, fight or scuffle, engage in bullying or cyberbullying or harassment. You see? Oh, and he said, and that, Marlene, is just based on the rules of conduct at the school for which the event was held. Thank you, Thomas. Seriously, thank you, bro. Thank you. You see, and we thank God that there's always, I don't want to say great white people, but there's always, unfortunately, it's sad to say it, but there's always, thank God for great, honest white people who really see things for what they are. Thank you, Thomas. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. I appreciate you for that. Thank you. Okay. We don't even know. Then you step in, you grab his back. It's all this. It's raining, y'all. Where I'm telling y'all, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, by the way. This is 9 o'clock, and this is just too ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. Oh, love you more. This is just so ridiculous. It's too early for this shit. Look, I will never stop saying this. I wish y'all would see me at 9 o'clock in the morning. I can barely wake up. I'm like, this morning, because I sleep with Maverick, right? He doesn't have a crib, but he just sleeps with me. Maverick was beating my behind. I'm like, I'm a jiu-jitsu your behind. Okay? I guess he was jiu-jitsuing me. Maverick was doing jiu-jitsu on me. I'm going to poke you, boo-boo, okay? But I'm like, this is crazy. It is just too early for this. It is 9 o'clock in the morning in the rain. It's just too early. It's too early. Okay. So now, a lease violation in Texas, staying longer than indicated on the lease, disturbing the other tenants with loud activity, damaging rental property. Did he say that Karmelo was damaging the tent? And here's the tent, y'all. The tent is not damaged. Here's the tent. It wasn't ripped. It wasn't set on fire. Like he didn't pee on it. Like the tent is not damaged. The tent is not even being damaged. Okay, let's go back over here. Smoking in non-smoking areas. He was not smoking. Keeping pet in a pet-free property. There was no pets.
Damaging the rental property itself, smoking in non-smoking areas, or keeping pets in pet-free properties. If the tenants fail to resolve the violations on time, then the landlord may continue with the eviction process. Now, if the tenant has engaged in illegal behavior within the property, the landlord could issue a 3-day notice to vacate.
Okay, you see, if you have illegal activity, yeah. So if you're a tenant and you're doing illegal activity, the landlord will vacate. But even that, it still have to give you 3 days. But there was nothing illegal by just sitting there.
Now, if the tenant has engaged in illegal behavior within the property, the landlord could issue a 3-day notice to vacate. Okay. Remember, the police have to be contacted if clear proof of illegal activity is found.
Okay, you see? So once again, let's say Karmelo was sitting there and he was doing something illegal. Even still, Hunter and Austin cannot physically remove him. They got to go call the police. That's why people say, keep your hands to yourself, go call the police, because they're trained in this. First of all, they know the law way more than you. They went to the police academy. They are trained at this. If violence escalates, they let them do it. Because another thing too, police officers carry liability insurance, right? Every police officer has liability insurance. So if there's a wrongful death, a wrongful whatever, they can get sued. They will pay for that. You as a civilian, you put your hands on someone, don't even know the law. You proceed with a forceful eviction without even like knowing the law. And somebody dies, or somebody has an asthma attack, or somebody passes out, they're going to come for your homeowner's insurance. Y'all think it's a joke? You're going to get sued. You're going to seriously get sued. And is that what you want for your life? I don't think so. This is why you get the police. Because if something bad happens, you don't want to get sued. This is real. That's why I don't understand like all these black conservatives who are sitting here making these goofy videos to grift to these deranged white people. You're not even helping them, because you should let them know. You touch somebody and something happens, even if you meant no harm, because you don't even know if they have a pre-existing condition. The person dies in your hand. The person has an asthma attack, or the person just, oh, well, you broke my hip. Now you're going to get sued. They will sue your homeowner's insurance. There are so many people who have homes, like who have houses, right? They don't even know how much coverage they have. A lot of people don't even have $5 million homeowners insurance. Exactly. Even a touch can be assault. There's a reason why people say in America, you don't touch people. Like we all learn this. You don't put your hands on people. You don't touch people. Because not only could you be breaking the law, but somebody can get hurt. And next thing you know, your homeowners, they're taking you to court. And what the heck? What is this? So if there's proof that the person sitting here is doing something illegal, your tenant is doing something illegal, you have to call the police. You cannot do it yourself. And you might want to, but slow and steady wins the race. When you do stuff, you want to do things the right way, and you want to make sure the law is on your side. Because if the law is on your side and you followed, like you dotted all your I's and you crossed all your T's, you're good to go. And when you know that you've done everything the right way, you have a clear conscience. So even somebody drags you to court, you fear nothing, because you know you did the right thing. You followed every step. You follow every procedures. You follow every protocol. You dotted your I's. You crossed your T's. That's why you cannot be emotional. You know, ignorance of the law is not an excuse to break the law. This stuff is real. This stuff is seriously real. And you have all these people here making goofy content to encourage people to put their hands on people. Even what's his name? What's his face again? Brandon say, oh, if you have a black eye, if you have a blue eye, if you have this type of eye, you know, it's not a big deal. What did he say? Where were you at? Hold on. Look at him. Look at Brandon teaching people assault. This dude is crazy. He is teaching people assault is okay.
If I just grab your t-shirt and say, man, move out the way, and you
don't even have the right to do that. And this man is from Texas. He always brags about being from Texas, being a police officer in Texas. Look at the things that are coming out of his mouth. You don't get to put your hands on people. You don't even get to grab somebody's t-shirt and move him out the way. Brandon, what is going on with you? Like, what is this?
Force. Because a person that used deadly force have to have evidence that a reasonable person would believe that person feared serious bodily injury. A black eye is not serious bodily injury.
You see this? He said a black eye is not a serious bodily injury. This dude is crazy.
A busted lip is not serious bodily injury.
A busted lip is not a serious body injury. So I would love for Brandon to say, if a woman comes in because a man beat her and she has a black eye, he would say, oh, that's not too bad. You can just go home. He was just trying to be nice to you. If a woman comes in here and she has a busted lip due to a man putting his hands on her, you're gonna say, oh no, that's not a serious injury. He's just trying to kiss you. That's his way of showing he loves you. This dude is crazy. The countless number of women who are battered every day, who have black eyes every day, who have busted lips every day. This dude who claims he's from Texas, he claims he was a police officer, he claims that he's a Christian and he stands for Christian values, is telling y'all a black eye is not a serious injury. What's it called? A busted lip is not a serious injury, right? All right. What is it? Let keep talking.
They have to fear serious bodily injury and or death, meaning that he believed that they were going to kill him, or he believed they were going to use a deadly weapon against him.
Okay. So I'm going to do this again. Where was my thing from yesterday? Sorry. Where's my thing again from yesterday? How did Ivana Trump die? Okay, how did Ivana Trump die? On July 14, 2022, age 73, Ivana died of blunt impact injuries to the torso after falling down the stairs at her home on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Okay, y'all, here is the venue. So we are surrounded by concrete steps. We are surrounded by metal bleachers in the rain. Bleachers that look like this with sharp corners, sharp edges made out of aluminum. People are being shoved. People are being grabbed. People are being pushed. And what's his name again? I keep wanting to call him Jason, right? He's saying, so if somebody pushes you down a flight of concrete steps, oh, you'll be fine, right? If somebody throws your body around, okay, aluminum freaking bleachers with sharp corners, you'll be fine. You will be fine, right? Also, if people know jiu-jitsu, okay? If people know jiu-jitsu, let's go.
By his coaches and teammates.
Uh-huh.
He's had multiple coaches, colleges contacting.
Okay.
He is one of the most outstanding, him and his brother both have been athletes all their lives.
Okay.
From soccer to baseball to jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu. They knew jiu-jitsu.
To football. They did it all. And they excelled every time. And
they excelled every time. So people who know jiu-jitsu, people who are they're bigger than you. So you weigh 160, he weighs 225. The other brother, maybe 200 to 220. They know jiu-jitsu. They're linebackers, right? This is the venue. You're surrounded by concrete steps, metal bleachers, right? And then Brandon wants to sit here and all of this in the rain. And Brandon, they're not going to hurt you. You'll be just fine, right? They know jiu-jitsu, but they're not going to hurt you. They might twist you up like a pretzel, but, they might throw your head against the sharp corners of a bleacher, crack your skull, but, they're not going to hurt you, right? They can throw you down a flight of because it happened here, right here. The knife is right here. They can throw you down a flight of concrete steps all the way down to here. You'll be just fine. You'll be fine. Okay? You'll be just fine. You can survive this. I mean, anybody thrown down a flight of concrete steps will be just fine. I mean, look, right? I mean, after all, Ivana died of blunt impact injuries to the torso after falling down the stairs. So people can die falling down a flight of stairs, but somehow Brandon wants you to believe that if in the rain somebody pushes you on a flight, like against a flight of concrete steps, you'll be just fine. You might have a black eye. You might have a busted lip. Yeah, you might have a few bruises, but you'll be fine. You know, don't fear for your life, right? Because he wants us to believe that this is what he does for fun on the weekend. This is how he has fun on the weekend. He just throws himself down the flight of concrete steps, right? He just throws himself against metal bleachers for fun, so he would know, because he does it every weekend for fun. Unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable. This is insanity. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Example of illegal activities include, but are not limited to, involvement in the creation, distribution, or consumption of illegal drugs, subletting without the landlord's approval, or theft, violence, and assault. Landlord.
Would it be somebody stealing? No. Was somebody assaulting them? No. Threat of violence? No. Let him say it again. Let him say it again, y'all.
And what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack.
Okay. What legal authority again does he have for this? Okay, cool. Is Karmelo even your tenant? No, he's not even your tenant. Okay, let's go.
Landlords are advised to keep a close eye on their tenants to make sure illegal behavior does not go unnoticed. So in this case, tenants are not allowed to renew their lease, and the landlords have to issue a 30-day notice to vacate. The tenant then has no choice but to leave the premises before the end of the notice period. And then landlords can continue with the eviction process if the tenant refuses to leave after the 30-day grace period. So in Texas, landlords cannot evict a tenant or force them to vacate the property without...
Oh, you cannot force them to vacate the property without probable cause. Say it again, please. Say it again.
Evict a tenant or force them to vacate the property without probable cause. So as long as the tenant doesn't violate any rules, they can stay until their rental period ends. But
so if you're not violating any rules, so was Karmelo violating any rules by just sitting there while it rained? I'm so confused. Was Karmelo violating any rules by sitting there while it was raining? What rule was he violating? Like being black and sitting next to white people? It's so crazy. Let's listen again. Let's listen.
Began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell.
Okay. So what exactly was he violating again? I'm so confused. Okay. Sitting there as rain fell. Okay. Is that an illegal activity? No, it's not. Let's keep going.
If the tenant stays in their rental property even a day after their lease agreement ends and has not arranged for a renewal, then landlords can issue a 30-day notice to vacate. It's also worth noting that landlords are not obliged to remind their tenants to renew unless stated in the lease/rental agreement. So the whole eviction process can only begin after the issuance of the notice to vacate. The landlord must have allowed enough time to pass before filing for the eviction. But the eviction process is as follows. First, proceed to the justice court that the rental property belongs to. Then, file a forcible detainer suit and prepare the following information for the quickest experience possible. Have the tenant's name and contact details, the landlord's name and contact details, the location and description of the rental property, the reason for eviction, details about the tenant's stay in the property, action taken with the notice to vacate, pending fees owed by the tenant, and the tenant's involvement in the military if applicable.
Okay, let's go back real quick. Okay, so here are the steps to file an eviction, right? Proceed to the justice court. To the justice court the rental property belongs to. Okay, so like find your proper court. Okay, file a forcible detainer suit and prepare the following information for a quicker experience: tenant's name and contact details, landlord's name and contact detail, which is why I said, who owns this tent? Who owns this tent? Do the Metcalfs own this tent? No, it's property of their school. It's not even their property. This is crazy. This is really crazy. This is insane. This is really insane. Okay, keep going. Reason for eviction. Oh, he was just sitting there. He happened to be black, you know. Details about the tenant's stay in the property. It was raining. Actions taken with the notice to vacate. Pending fees owed by the tenant, 0. Tenant's involvement in the military, not applicable. Pay the fees. Let's keep going.
Action taken with the notice to vacate. Pending fees owed by the tenant, and the tenant's involvement in the military if applicable. It reduces the scheduling of the hearing from 20 days down to 10 days after the filing is passed. If the landlord wins the case, the repossession of their property is then fast-tracked. If this bond was filed, the landlord has to provide a notice of request to the tenant. And do note that filing it is risky because if the tenant wins, then the money spent by the landlord goes to the court fees of the tenant. So in Texas, filing fees can start as low as $46, but they can go upwards of past $100 with an additional $130 for the writ of possession. These prices are going to vary from county to county. So all in all, it takes about 3 to 30 days from the issuance of the notice to vacate, depending on the reason for the eviction and the lease agreement. However, filing should only take 1 day at most, barring any delays within the Justice County. So before filing an eviction with the court, you need to issue the tenant a notice to comply. You can either download a free PDF or Word template from our website, or you can use a step-by-step wizard that'll walk you through the entire process.
You even have to see, you have to give somebody, if you want to evict someone in Texas, you got to give them something in writing. You can't just forcefully grab people and just proceed to evict the people. Even for even your own, I'm talking about a house, like $300,000, $400,000, $600,000, $700,000, $1 million, right? You talk about a goofy tent. You talk about a $40 tent doing the most, right? But even people who have property, I'm talking like a house, 100, 300, like hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, right? If they want to evict people, they have to comply to Texas law. So you're doing this over a goofy ass tent. This is a $40 tent at Walmart, doing the most. At most, $100. They didn't even pay for this. It's not your family's heirloom. It's not your family's property. It belongs to the school. It's not even your Metcalf property. But like here we are. There are people who have $300,000 homes, $400,000 homes, up to millions of dollars. And they're looking to evict people. And they themselves can't even go there and grab somebody and throw them out and remove them so they can be done with this foolishness. They still have to follow the law. Okay?
Process. Now, this is just to help you make sure that you're submitting the legally correct notice. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that the step-by-step wizard does in fact ask you to pay a small fee at the end, but that is a small price to pay to ensure legal compliance and protection. So when it comes to serving, an official from the court will deliver the summons for the hearing and the complaint to the tenant. This is something that's usually assigned to the county sheriff. However, there are several methods.
Like Thomas said, it was purchased. Where's the tenant? Let me show the tenant again. Here's the tenant. It's not your family's property. It was purchased through school funds, either raised or from the budget. It's not the student's property. Nobody owns this tent. Like, you don't own stuff. Like, even sometimes, like, I don't know, like, there were, like, certain teams, I don't know if it's still the same, but you can be on your school's football team. You can be on your school's basketball team. They will give you your jersey. But once the season is over, you have to give it back. It doesn't belong to you. Everything here belongs to the school. Like, the tent belongs to Memorial High School. Who made you the guardian, protector, enforcer of this tent? Who can sit here? Who can't sit there? You're a fellow student. This is not even your property. Doing too much at 9 o'clock in the morning, doing too much. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity.
To accomplish this, there's personal service where the court official delivers the summons and complaint to the tenant in person, or there is the substituted service where if the tenant is unavailable, someone living with the tenant who is over the age of 16 can receive these documents. If none of these methods are possible, then the court official will turn to posting and mailing. So the server will mail the documents via first-class mail, and when using this method, the court official leaves a copy of the document for the tenant. It is placed in a secure and visible position by the entrance of the tenant's rented property. And remember, landlords are not allowed to serve the tenants themselves.
Okay. Let me say it again. What is that?
Have to pay. Serve the tenants. Using this method, the court official leaves a copy of the document for the tenant. It is placed in a secure and visible position by the entrance of the tenant's rented property. And remember, landlords are not allowed to serve the tenant.
Landlords are not allowed to serve the tenants themselves. So let's even assume that this was their property, which is not. They wouldn't even be able to serve Karmelo. That's why they have to get a police officer. They can't do this themselves. You're all students. You're all 17. What makes you think in your head that you have the right to tell anybody to move? Like, this is crazy. You're 17. What makes you believe that you have the right to grab somebody because he's not moving? Who told you could do stuff like this? Like, who raised you? You're like, who told you? You're about to be 18. Like, you're a few months shy of being 18. And you don't know that you can't keep your hands. You have to keep your hands to yourself. Oh, he's not doing what I'm telling him to do. I'm gonna grab him. Who gave you all this power? Who gave this authority? Can you imagine if people just went around just grabbing people? Oh, you parked in my parking spot. Let me grab you out your car. Oh, you took my car at Walmart. Let me drag you throughout Walmart. Oh, you took my car, my shopping cart at Target. Let me drag you throughout Target. Oh, you took my basket at CVS. Let me drag you to the CVS. Can you imagine? How many times? So I don't know. For me, I know I can go to Walmart sometimes. I don't need a cart now, because you always think you don't need a cart. Then you walk in, you start grabbing stuff. Like, oh my gosh, I have too much stuff. You're like, oh, did anybody leave a cart in the aisle? Do you know how many times I have grabbed a cart in the aisle because I thought nobody was claiming it? Imagine if somebody come and grab me, right? Because I grabbed a cart at freaking Walmart. Like, sis, okay, it's not that serious, right? What's your name again? Dustin Cross. Dustin, you keep wanting to like take us somewhere. We're not going to go there. Like these gaslighting games a la mayonnaise. I'm not doing this with you. Okay, go find somebody else to play with. Go find Officer Tatum. Go find Candace Owens. Go find somebody to play with. You're so damn silly. I'm not playing with you. You're so bored. You're not even interesting. You're not even interesting. You know, whatever. You can't do this. Let's go.
Themselves. This is why there's an additional server's fee, which you have to pay. The tenant then has at least 6 days to prepare for the hearing and respond to the summons and complaint. The documents should be served to the tenant at least 6 days before the hearing is scheduled, and either the tenant or landlord may request to postpone the trial for a period not exceeding 7 days. So you, as the landlord or property manager, have to have a strong argument backed up by solid evidence against the tenant.
Oh, what do you say? So let's even assume that Hunter and Austin were assigned with being property managers. Like, okay, Austin, the principal said, Austin, I want you to look after this tent. Hunter, I want you both to look after this tent. So let's even assume that the principal gave them permission or the right to be property managers. But even as a property manager, there's Texas has laws and procedures. Okay. So what do you have to do as a property manager? Let's do it.
You, as the landlord or property manager, have to have a strong argument back.
You gotta have a strong argument. Now let Hunter tell you again what happened. This is crazy, huh? Let Hunter tell you what happened.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. And he's like, make me move. Also grabbed his backpack.
Okay. So what strong argument does Hunter, Austin, or anybody else, what is the strong argument for them to say, as property managers, we want you to leave? Oh, this is our school tent. Okay, but it's raining. Is he damaging your property? Oh, like who would even listen to you? Like imagine you go get a police officer. They say, oh, officer, can you tell him to get under our tent? I mean, it's raining, but we don't want him here. They would like, okay, even the police officer would say, but what's the problem? Like, is he doing something wrong? I don't even think, even the police officer, you think, okay, it's raining. You're going to leave your tent, walk up to a police officer who's sitting in his patrol car and tell him to leave being dry, to walk through the rain, to tell another student to leave, even though he's not doing anything wrong. He belongs there. He is also registered to run. He is fully dressed in his school uniform. Even the police officer is going to ask you, is he doing something wrong? No, he's just sitting there. But it's raining. Even I'm sitting in my car. So why are you walking through the rain to tell me this? This is insanity. This is really, really insanity. What strong argument do you have to say, oh, you can't sit here, if it's not the fact that he's black? Because all this, oh, you don't go to our school, it's fugazi. It is fugazi. I refuse to believe that they don't have friends from different schools. I refuse to believe that they've never let anybody from any other school in Collin County sit under their tent. That is bunch of BS. That's bunch of BS. Most high school students, especially when they drive, they have friends that go to all kinds of school. They have friends that go to all kinds of high school, right? So the real issue here, the code, this whole you can't sit with us, this because you're black. Because you're black. They don't want you to sit here because you're black. You did nothing wrong. You're not smoking. You're not being loud. There's no illegal activity. You're not picking on their tent. You're not burning their tent. You're not peeing on their tent. It's raining. And they want to make a big issue out of a non-issue because you're black. Because you're black. I refuse to believe that if another white kid was in need of, of shelter during the rain, that they would have done all this. This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. Even the police officer would have told you this is ridiculous. Maybe wait until the rain dies down and then he'll just leave. Why can't you wait for the rain to stop and see what he decides to do? No, he has to leave right now in the rain. It has now. Racist. Like, this is foolishness.
Backed up by solid evidence against the tenant. However, if the tenant just doesn't show up, then you win by default. However, if you do not win, then you can still appeal within 5 days post-judgment for reconsideration. So in the state of Texas, a reply from the tenant is not necessary for a court date to be scheduled. They only have to show up for the hearing. If the tenant disagrees with the summons and complaint, then the landlord can choose to settle with the tenant outside of court. If they come to an agreement, the landlord files for a non-suit. This is really just a request for the dismissal of the case. But if an agreement is not reached, then the responsibility of providing evidence, well, that falls on the landlord. And the landlord...
Who had to provide evidence? Who did he say? Who had to provide evidence?
An agreement, the landlord files for a non-suit. This is really just a request for the dismissal of the case. But if an agreement is not reached, then the responsibility of providing evidence, well, that falls on the landlord.
Providing evidence, that falls on the landlord. Well.
And the landlord needs to support the claim and show it during the hearing. Now, this could include, but is not limited to, the following: the copy.
So, acceptable evidence to support your claim: copy of the deed and the lease or rental agreement. Rent. Like, so even here, do you own this tent? Do you have a proof of purchase that your mom, your dad, or even you or your brother bought this tent? Who bought this tent? You didn't pay for this. You did not pay for this, right? Rent receipts don't apply. Rent ledger don't apply. Bank statement don't apply. Witness statement, I guess, not really. Photo and video documentation of the violations committed by the tenant. He already told y'all he was just sitting there. Let's keep going.
Of the deed and the lease, rent receipts and ledgers, bank statements, witnesses, or photo and video documentation of the violations, correspondence, etc., etc. Now, like I said, if the judge rules in favor of the tenant, then the landlord has 5 days to appeal the ruling, but that also works the other way around. As far as timeline goes, a hearing is then scheduled 10 to 21 days from the filing of the complaint. But this can be shortened to as little as 10 days if the landlord has filed for an immediate possession bond. So what next? You won the case. Now where do you go from here? Provided the tenant does not appeal for a reconsideration, a writ of possession is issued no less than 6 days after the winning of the case. The writ of possession gives the tenant a maximum...
You need a writ of possession. Did Austin Hunter have a writ of possession? No, they never went to court. Okay, let's go.
...of 24 hours to vacate the property.
24 hours to vacate the property. Okay.
Now, if you filed for an immediate possessions bond, then the writ of possession is created beforehand. The tenant then has 7 days from the time they receive the notice of request to move out should the landlord win the case.
7 days. Okay, so it's not right now. Okay, let's go.
So the sheriff or constable will post the writ of possession on the property.
Okay. What did they say? Let him say again.
So the sheriff or constable.
The sheriff or the constable. So even you, the landlord, you can't do this. Like, this is crazy. This is really crazy. The sheriff or the constable will post the writ of possession. So even you, the landlord, you win the case, you get the writ of possession, but you still cannot go to your own property and post it on the door. And I think all of this is to avoid physical altercation. You see, they don't want people to touch each other, fight, because you just never know. So even if you win the case, you have to wait for the sheriff or the constable to post the writ of possession. Don't go there. People gonna get hurt. Okay. Yeah, and Austin took and threw Anthony's backpack for, yeah. So it's like, make it make sense. Okay. So that's it. You have to wait for the sheriff or constable that will post the writ. Okay, then what?
Constable will post the writ of possession on the property. This is to inform the tenant that they have 24 hours to vacate the premises with their belongings.
So you should even give somebody, like, they need to have 24 hours to vacate. No, he has to move right now. Like, these people, they broke the law in so many ways. It's not even funny at this point. Okay? Even a tenant, even a landlord with a property, like I'm talking an expensive property, like a house or an apartment or a condo. Once they win the case, they have a writ of possession. They have to wait for either the sheriff or the constable to go to the house, the property, and put that on the door. But even once that's there, the tenant still gets 24 hours. It's not even like, oh, the sheriff posted the writ of possession on the door. You got to move right now. You got to move right now. You still have 24 hours. You still have 24. Y'all don't worry about this Dustin person. They're trying to distract you. Ignore this. They're butthurt. When it makes too much sense, this is what they do. Let the person type whatever. Let them cry boo-boo tears. Don't even engage, okay? Because they like the person came here to get under your skin. But now I'm making too much sense. I make too much sense, y'all. America is not a barbaric, lawless Hamlet in Europe. America is a first world country full of laws. We have laws out here. Even to evict people, we have laws. We have processes. We have procedures. And these people have done everything for even the landlord or the property manager to not have to deal with the tenant, to avoid escalation, to avoid violence, to avoid whatever. That's what they say. You deal with the judge, you deal with the sheriff. Let them take care of this. You don't do it yourself because God forbid something bad happens. And here we are today. Okay, here we are. Let's keep going.
And once those 24 hours are up, the sheriff or constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force.
Okay. So you go to court. Y'all hear this, right? So first and foremost, number one, you go to court. You do all your paperwork, right? Number two, you win the case. 3, you get a writ of possession. 4, the sheriff goes to the property, puts the writ of possession on the door, right? The tenant then 5, the tenant then has 24 hours. 6, after the 24 hours have expired, then the sheriff gets to he can now remove you by force. So even the sheriff, once he has the writ of possession, he cannot just move you by force. He has to first wait for the 24 hours. So he gets the writ of possession from the judge's bailiff, right? They give it to him. He gets in his car, he drives to the place, puts it on the door. Once he puts it on the door, the clock starts ticking. The tenant has 24 hours, not 2 minutes, not 2 minutes and 40 seconds, not 24 minutes or 2 hours and 40 seconds. No, they have a full 24 hours. After the 24 hours, then the sheriff can remove the person by force. I repeat, America is a first world country. It's a country with laws. We have laws. And we have laws, procedures, processes, right? Because we're not a land of barbarians. And laws, procedures, and everything like that, it's meant to keep everyone safe. That's why you call the police and you don't try to behave like a goofy 17-year-old vigilante and take matters into your own hands. You didn't go to law school. You're not a professor. You're not a police officer. You're not a lawyer. Doing too damn much. All of this at 9 o'clock in the morning in the rain. Okay? Keep going. Oh, my Lord.
Constable will post the writ of possession on the property. This is to inform the tenant that they have 24 hours to vacate the premises with their belongings. And once those 24 hours are up, the sheriff or constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So
There's a caveat. So let's see. There's a caveat, y'all. What is it?
The tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this.
Let him say it again. Oh, child, I love America, y'all. I love the law. Let me slow this down.
For constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So
say it again, y'all. Let him say it again.
For constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow.
Let him say it again. Oh, Lord Jesus. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy.
For constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow.
Let him say it again. Oh, Lord Jesus.
They will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go back over here. Let them people say it again. Let them say it again. What happened? What happened? What happened again? Let him say it again. Hold on.
Event began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell.
Okay, let him say it again. Oh, Jesus Christ.
The tragic event began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell.
Let him say it again. I think some people that are so racist, like it affects their hearing. You know what I'm saying? So let him say it again.
According to the arrest report, the tragic event began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell.
Okay, so it was raining. Let's go back to this video. Let him say it again.
A little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow.
Okay, so let's even assume that they had followed let's even assume that they had followed all the laws. And it's raining. I'm asking you a question. Would the police officer even have asked Karmelo to move in the rain? This is crazy, y'all. This is insanity. You know, when I heard this part, I said, Lord, in all your ways you are good. In all your ways you are good, okay? In all your ways you are good. And bad weather, y'all, which includes rain, sleet, or snow. It was raining. It was raining. So even if Austin and Hunter had gotten the police officer and asked the police officer to remove Karmelo, even if the police officer somehow had, like, you know, he had a judge order to remove Karmelo, would he have proceeded with the removal of Karmelo? The answer is no. And why is that? Because there's bad weather, which includes rain, sleet, or snow. I repeat, this is why you don't take matters to your own hands. This is why you have to know the law. Right? Okay, bye, Thomas. This is why you have to know the law. This is why you have to know things. This is why you don't put matters to your own hand. You go get a police officer, and even the police officer would have said, well, it's bad weather. Can't really ask him to move. Right? Can't really ask him to move. Now, let's look at, so thank you for the man for saying this. Maybe he can say it one more time in a normal speed. Okay, let's see.
Arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow. If this happens, they must wait for better weather before taking the tenant outside of the property. So
Thank you. Okay. So if there's bad weather, they have to wait. They have to wait. So why could Hunter and Austin and Hunter have waited for the rain to stop and then ask Karmelo to move? Why does he have to move in the rain? Why does he have to move in the rain?
24 hours are up, the sheriff or constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow. If this happens, they must wait for better weather before taking the tenant outside of the property. So the timeline.
Okay. You must wait for better weather. So let me go back over here. Let me start this again. Okay.
The arrest report, the tragic event, began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell and being told to move. A witness told police Anthony immediately opened his bag and reached in, telling the victim, "Touch me and see what happens." When the victim pushed him, witnesses say Anthony pulled a knife from the bag and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest.
Let's pause right here. Now, the news, they're not telling the full story. This is pretty much what happened, but there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more that may add some context, okay? Let's go to People, and we're going to scroll down a little bit in the article. The affidavit also details just how quickly things escalated between Metcalf and Anthony. An eyewitness told police that Metcalf asked Anthony to move from out under the tent that had been set up for members of his high school track team on that field that day. Anthony then reached into his bag, according to the eyewitness, and told Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." The eyewitness said Metcalf touched Anthony, at which time Anthony allegedly told him to punch him and see what happens. According to the affidavit, Metcalf then went to physically move Anthony, which is when Anthony allegedly pulled a knife out of his bag, stabbed Metcalf in the chest, and fled from the tent. Now, this is what it says right here. Okay, I'll link to it. This is a real thing. Okay, like, I'm not making this up. The local news, I got sources. So look, let me just say this before we get back to the video. I'm sitting under a tent at a high school track meet because it's raining. There's no assigned seats at a high school track meet. If you come up to me and tell me to move, you're trying to bully me.
Yep. That's exactly what that is. Okay. That's exactly what that is. One more time. One more time.
Arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow. If this happens, they must wait for better weather before taking the tenant outside of the property. So the time.
Thank you. So now let's look at eviction laws in Texas. I just typed this in AI with Gemini, right? So here is what it says. In Texas, a landlord cannot forcibly remove a tenant without first going through the legal eviction process, which starts with a written notice to vacate, okay? The landlord must wait at least 3 days after serving the notice before filing an eviction suit in court. A tenant can be evicted for various reasons, including non-payment of rent, lease violation, or the end of a lease term. Okay, cool. Now, let's also look at this one. In Collin County, Texas, the eviction process typically starts with a 3-day notice to vacate, 72 hours, not a few seconds or a few minutes. This notice must be in writing and clearly state the reason for the eviction, the deadline to vacate, and be delivered in a legally acceptable manner. So yelling at people, grabbing people, being forceful on people, it is not a legally acceptable manner. Okay? Let me play this goofy man's video real quick because he needs to understand that. Okay? Because he's really silly this way.
You have been designated to.
Where does it start? It started at 2:42, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2:42. This goofball.
Sit. Here's another thing. Only sit in areas that are designated for you to sit at. Clap your hands. Here's another thing. And when you are told to move, whether nicely or in what you might call an unkind tone, if you are in the wrong place, you should get your rear end up.
Okay. Unfortunately, another idiot. Another idiot who does not know the law. Doesn't know the law. Your personal feelings does not equate the law. Okay? You have to know the law. So I repeat, in Collin County, Texas, the eviction process typically starts with a 3-day notice to vacate. This notice must be in writing, not orally, not peacefully, quietly insulting. No, it says in writing. And clearly state the reason for the eviction, the deadline to vacate, and be delivered in a legally acceptable manner. Legally acceptable. Yelling at people, insulting people, grabbing people is not a legally acceptable manner. The legally acceptable manner is a writ of possession. WRIT, a writ of possession, right? Let the man say it again, y'all. Let him say it again. Oh, Lord Jesus.
So the sheriff or constable will post the writ of possession on the property. This is to inform the tenant that they have 24 hours to vacate the premises with their belongings. And once those 24 hours are up, the sheriff or constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now, there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow. If this happens, they must wait for better weather before taking the tenant outside of the property. So
thank you. So the legally acceptable manner is not yelling, it is not grabbing, it is not touching, it is a writ of possession. Let Hunter explain again what his brother did. Okay, let him explain again.
Was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started.
So he asked him to move. Is that a legally acceptable manner? No. Okay.
Getting aggressive and talking reckless, and my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move."
Okay, so Austin steps in and says, "You need to move." Once again, Is that a legally acceptable manner? No. Okay.
He's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay. Austin grabbed his backpack. Is that also a legally acceptable manner? No. Okay. And Collin County, Texas, the eviction process typically starts with a 3-day notice to vacate. The notice must be in writing and clearly state the reason for the eviction. The deadline to vacate and be delivered in a legally acceptable manner. Grabbing people is not an acceptable manner. Yelling at people is not an acceptable manner. Threatening people is not an acceptable manner. Okay? If the tenant doesn't comply, he's not even your tenant. The landlord can then file an eviction suit in the Justice Peace Court. Okay, cool. No problem. Now, Judge Joe Brown, I'm gonna stop this. How is it apples to oranges? Explain it to me. I would love for you to explain it to me. Well, how is it apples to oranges? Explain it to me. If you said somebody is sitting under our tent, we asked him to move. He started talking reckless. My brother stepped in, telling me you have to move. He said, make me move. My brother grabbed him. Do you know the meaning of an eviction, or you struggle with like English? Like, where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to school? If you say somebody is sitting under my tent, then you grab the person to remove the person. What is that? What do you call that? What do you call that kind of behavior? I'm so lost. Apples to oranges. Are you there? Like, these people are so silly. Are you there? Like, in here, are you cogent? Are you actually intelligent? Like, that sounds so damn stupid. She sounds so damn stupid. He said the kid was sitting under our tent. We asked him to move. He started talking reckless. My brother stepped in, told him you have to move. He said, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack. So what are you doing? That's an eviction. Like, that is just insanity. Like, you people are so embarrassed. And I'm sure you have children. Imagine the homework. I can only imagine your children and their scores. Like, do you even check your kids' homework? Are you actually smart? Did you finish high school? You sound so damn silly. Even if you thought it didn't match, before you typed your comment, you could have saved yourself the embarrassment by looking up what an eviction is. Do you know what an eviction is? When you say you are sitting under our tent, when he says that, he's okay, exactly. You're in college right now. Exactly. You haven't finished college. And what's your major? Tell me what your major is. What's your major? Something so stupid that you'll come out with student loan debt and you won't have a job. Then you'll beg the government to erase your debt, right? What's your major? Tell us now. What is your major? What's your major? Basket weaving? African American studies? Like, what are you majoring in? Something so damn stupid. Tell me your major so I can look the medium salary for your major. That's why some of y'all have no business even going to college. Just get a trade. You don't have the IQ for this. You just don't have it. Like, if you're not going to go to school, like if you're not going to go to college and major in STEM, just don't do it. Seriously, don't do it. Going to school to major in what? Basket weaving, marketing, home decor, criminal justice, like them goofy ass things that barely challenge you. English, right? If you're not going to major in STEM, don't waste your money. Don't wait, what, psychology? Oh, that's the other one. What are you majoring in? Psychology? That's your major, right? Psychology? Y'all go to school and pick the most easiest of majors. Grown, wasting your money, going to class just to be babysat. You learn nothing. You learn nothing. Okay? Like, you sound so damn stupid. Yeah, exactly. The VA paid you. You had to go to the military to be able to have money for college. So when you left high school, you had a horrible GPA. Right? When you left high school, you had a horrible GPA. It shows. You sound so slow. Like, sometimes when you're not even sure, don't write it. Just look it up for yourself. Like, see what I'm saying? Like, just save yourself the embarrassment. Save yourself the embarrassment. Somebody says he was sitting under our tent. We asked him to move. He started talking reckless. My brother stepped in and said, you got to move. He said, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack to do what? To evict him. Hey. Because you're saying is this is my property. Who exactly? So you had to wait for your own husband? So you went to high school, you barely had a 3.5 GPA to even get into community college. You a grown ass woman. You had to wait to get married to use your husband's GI Bill. Girl, you're pathetic. Don't waste this man's money. Save it for your kids. Save your GI Bill for your kids. You are pathetic. Let your husband see. Let your husband see your line of reasoning and why he should stop wasting his GI Bill on you. Your husband needs to stop wasting his GI Bill on you at your big age. At your big age, using somebody else's sacrifice because he served, right? Your husband served. So he's giving you his GI Bill. And this is how you're making him proud. He needs to drop. You need to go get a trade. Even just be a home wife. Be at home, take care of the kids. You don't have what it takes. You don't have what it takes. You're not worth the investment. Stop going to college. You're wasting his GI Bill. Save the GI Bill for the children. Because it's a dead wrap. If you finish high school with something less than a 3.5, nobody should waste a GI Bill on you. You're not worth it. At your big age, don't even know what an eviction is. Apples to oranges. No. Him giving you his money, then how'd you get it? You're 35. Yo, yeah, they use his GI Bill. Yeah, right. Go sit down somewhere. You sound so damn silly. You sound so silly. Y'all not, damn. They need to dismantle the Department of Education. Like it just drives me insane. You sound so damn crazy.
Was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay. So if he was under the tent, the boy is sitting under the tent. By the time Austin grabbed him, where is he? Is he still under the tent? Okay. No, you're slow. You are slow. If you're embarrassed to say that, you're slow AF. You're slow. Your husband needs to stop wasting his GI Bill on you. You sound so damn silly. He was sitting under our tent. He's establishing that this is my property. This is my space. Okay? This is my space. This is my tent. Right? Then by the time they're done with him, they grab him, they move him out the tent. They're no longer in the tent. Hello? So if you were under the tent, by the time Austin is done with you, you are no longer in the tent because he grabbed you. What do you call that? 35 years old. Damn. What do you call that? Boo! Like, it's just wild how people are so remedial in America. And these people have the right to vote. These people can actually vote. Putain de merde. Like, people can actually vote thinking like this. This is just insanity. This is insanity. He was sitting under our tent. We asked him to move. He started talking reckless. My brother stepped in. He said, "You got to move." He said, "Make me move." So Austin grabbed his backpack and did what? Kept him under the tent. Miss G.I. Bill, he grabbed him just so he could keep him under the tent. Right? That's what your husband's wasting his money on. That's what your husband is wasting his GI Bill on. So he grabbed the boy who was sitting under the tent just to keep him under the tent. Putain de merde. Like, this is just wild. No, I'm not your husband. I will not put up with your imbecility. Go see your husband. Go be with your husband. Go be with your husband. Because only he's impressed with you. I'm not impressed with you, girl. Maybe you gave the child, I'm gonna say it. Go be with your husband. I can't do this. Go be with your husband. You get on my nerves. You get on my nerves. Go somewhere. Go be with your husband. Go take care of your kids. Like, she's so damn stupid. Damn. Like, this is just go somewhere. Shit. Just go. I'm so tired of dumb people. Go be with your husband. You're so slow. This is insanity. He was sitting under our tent. We asked him to move. He started talking reckless. My brother stepped in, said, "You got to move." He said, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack to do what? To grab him so he can stay under the tent. They don't want him there. So if he grabbed him, it's to put him outside of the tent. Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my gosh. Like, this is just wild. How do you people even take, like, standardized tests? Like, this, and then you tell me you're in college? You're 35. This is how you reason, and you are in college? Shit. Where do you go to school? DeVry? Phoenix? Unbelievable. Your husband needs to get his money back. Oh, shit. I cannot keep doing this to people. It's just, like, it's astounding. It's unbelievable. Like they just can't connect the dots. Like the most basic shit. Can't even understand that. He was sitting under our tent. We asked him to move. He started talking reckless. My brother stepped in. He said, you gotta move. He said, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack. So he grabbed him for what? He grabbed him just so he could stay under the same tent? That sounds plausible to you. Oh, yeah, he just grabbed him to just put him down, right? He grabbed him so he could just put him back down at the same location. Make no damn sense. Like they're just like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Exactly. So exactly, he touched him multiple times. Like this is insanity. This is really insanity. So you're saying like, oh yeah, he's sitting under our tent. We asked him to move. He said, make me move. Like, what's it talking? He started talking reckless. My brother stepped in. He said, you got to move. He said, make me move. Austin grabbed him. To do what? When he grabbed his backpack, it was for what? To look at his backpack, to take a picture of his backpack, to do what? It's to put it out there so he can move. He said, how can you compare this to an eviction? Oh my gosh, I cannot do this. People, oh Señor de gracia. People are just so damn, people are something else. People are just something else. You don't know. You knew Austin? You knew Austin personally? Is that you, Austin? Do I need like a Ouija board calling Austin? Are you like yeah, exactly. Jiu-jitsu. Rico, hey Rico, I saw your comments. Oh, what's up, Rico? What's up? He said, Rico said they don't know Austin if his brother knew jiu-jitsu. Let me go one time. Let me play it one time for the one time. Okay, that's for you, Rico. What's up? Oh, nice to see you. Nice to see you. I saw your comments. We were going back and forth. I saw your comments. What's up, boo? Let me say one time for Rico. One time for the one time. Let's do this.
Brother, both have been athletes all their lives, from soccer to baseball to jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu? He knows jiu-jitsu?
To football. They did it all. And they excelled every time. And I told them, you guys are so lucky because not everyone has your talent.
So even their dad, even the father knows that his sons have exceptional talent. Even the father knows they have exceptional talent, right? Jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu. He knows jiu-jitsu. I will never stop saying that. I will never stop saying that. I will never stop saying it. I will never stop saying this. They knew jiu-jitsu, y'all. Jiu-jitsu.
Him and his brother both have been athletes all their lives, from soccer to baseball to jiu-jitsu to football. They did it all. And they excelled every time. And I told them, you guys are so lucky because not everyone has your talent.
One more time, y'all. One more time. What do you say again? One more time. Okay.
He is one of the most outstanding. Him and his brother both have been athletes all their lives.
Okay.
From soccer to baseball to jiu-jitsu to football. They did it all. And they excelled every time. And I told them, you guys are so lucky because not everyone has your talent, but you have to make sure you take that talent and harness it in the right way.
Exactly. Not trying to do some unlawful evictions at 9 o'clock in the morning in the rain, right? Now, let me show y'all some poses in jiu-jitsu. Let me start with this one. So this one right here is a crucifix. I said, y'all, even Jesus did not survive the crucifix, okay? Even the Lord Jesus Christ, he didn't survive the crucifix. Let's look at this one.
One attack I really like from the crucifix is going for the arm bar. And the way I set this up a lot is I have their arm trapped with my hook, and then they manage to get past my bottom hook like this. And all I'm going to do is switch my legs to here. So I have them in the crucifix, and I just press my hips in and get the arm bar like that. One attack I really like from the crucifix is going for the arm bar. And the way I set this up a lot is I have their arm trapped with my hook, and then they manage to get past my bottom hook like this. And all I'm going to do is switch my legs to here. So I have them in the crucifix, and I just press my hips in. And get
So this is what they wanted. This is what these whites wanted. They wanted Karmelo to just let Austin, who's 225, grab his ass at 160 and then crucifix him like a pretzel, right? This is what they wanted. This is what they wanted. This is what these whites wanted to see. But I'm like, look at this, y'all. Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, y'all. Even Jesus Christ did not survive the crucifixion. And he was born of a virgin. Okay? Jesus was born of a virgin. Jesus was born out of immaculate conception. Okay? Jesus, his daddy is God. Even Jesus didn't make it out of the crucifix. But somehow, Karmelo, who was conceived by a mother and a father, a human people, he gonna make it out of the crucifix. What Jesus couldn't do, somehow Karmelo gonna do it. How did that even make sense? What Jesus could not do, and mind you, Jesus walked on water, y'all. Jesus walked on water. Jesus even had the whole transfiguration, right, in front of Peter. And he asked Peter, who did they say I am? And Peter said, they say that you are the Son of God. And he said, well, for only God revealed that to you, Peter. Jesus took like what, 5 loaves of bread and 3 fish. He prayed, he multiplied, he fed 5,000 people. Jesus resurrected Lazarus. Jesus resurrected the daughter of Darius. Jesus healed the woman who was bleeding for 12 years straight. She spent all her money seeking the cure. There was no cure. Jesus healed her. The centurion came up to Jesus. Okay? Oh, you need to go sit down somewhere. You go back to timeout. Timeout. Go back to timeout. You want a timeout? No, I'm not your husband. I am not your husband. I'm not doing this with you. Yeah? You go back to timeout. I'm not your husband. I am not your husband. Timeout. Delete the comment. I'm not your husband. I'm not putting up with you. I'm not your husband. He's impressed by your stupidity. Maybe you got a big booty. Go talk to your husband. I'm not your husband. Okay? Jesus restored the sight of the blind. Jesus restored the paraplegic from the chimney. Jesus helped the man at the pool of Bethany. Okay? Jesus restored the sight of, was it Bartimaeus? Right? But even at the crucifix, he died. What Jesus couldn't do, they want Karmelo to do. Make it make sense. A man who walked on water, he himself did not make it past the crucifixion. Right? Well, a man who multiplied bread and fish, he couldn't survive the crucifixion. Right? A man who said, Lazarus, get up. Even Mary, Martha. Martha and Mary said, had you been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Right? Martha first, right? Mary came and Mary said, had you been here, my brother wouldn't have died. And then the people said that Jesus started to weep because he was so shocked by the lack of faith of the people. And he says, Lazarus, get up and get out. Right? Darius ran behind Jesus because his daughter she was like 7, she had passed away. And so Jesus goes into the house of Darius. He says, where is the daughter? They show him the daughter. She was laying there. Body is cold. And that's what you even have in the Bible, where they write it in Hebrew. It says, Talitha Kumi, daughter, get up. Okay? Oh, we're gonna know who was raised in the Word of God, and we're gonna know who was raised by barbarians. See, my God, my Jesus, I know my God, I know my Jesus. He saw the daughter of Darius, and he asked what the daughter is. They showed him the daughter, and he looked at the daughter, and he spoke, and he said, Talitha Kumi. Go ask your rabbi, go ask whoever you want that speak the Hebrew. What does Talitha Kumi means? Daughter, get up. When he met Bartimaeus, who was screaming, son of David, son of David, son of David. Right? The Bible said he spit on the sand and he put the mud, and then somehow he said, go wash your face. The man started to see. But Jesus himself could not survive the crucifixion. But somehow hold on, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. These people are crazy. These people are crazy. The crucifix, you are out your damn mind. You are out your mind. You are really out of your mind. Hold on, y'all. Where's the crucifix? Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, I don't know. People are crazy. Okay? No, they want you to sit there, right? And Hunter is number 11, right? Hunter is number 11. They want you to sit there at 160. Okay, you're gone. You're not going to disrespect me. You're gone. I don't know who you're talking to, but some of y'all, you're not raised right. Okay? Y'all still here? Hold on. Hello. Banners, comments. Okay, cool. You call me out of my name, you will be banned. Y'all played the wrong games. You see, y'all played the wrong games. Do not call me out of my. I did not insult you. You will not insult me. I don't know who raised some of you pale barbarians. You will not insult me. You are gone. I will ban you with the ease. This is not your page. This is my channel. You will be banned. Okay? They want you to sit there and let Austin's number 11. Let Austin grab these big legs and put your behind in a crucifix. Right? This is also Austin. They want you to sit there and let Austin grab you any way he sees fit. Oh yeah, just let him grab you. This is him. That's him right here. Look how he grabbing up this black player. Even if it's not black, he's smaller. Look how he grabbing him up. No, just let Austin grab you any way he sees fit. Right? Let Austin grab his big ass, thick ass legs and put your ass in a crucifix. And for these people, that is perfectly acceptable. Huh? Somebody who knows jiu-jitsu. And the father even said he excelled at jiu-jitsu. No, you should just sit there and let this boy use his legs and then just twist you like a pretzel and put you in the crucifix. They are insane. They are truly insane. Okay? Let him say it again.
To football, they did it all, and they excelled every time. To jiu-jitsu,
y'all. So you should just sit there and let a man with legs that thick, the legs are so strong, he has so much power in his legs. You should just sit there and let him twist your ass into a crucifix, because to these white people, this is acceptable behavior. Because their white son cannot die. The white person can die. Just say it. Just say white lives matter and be done with it. Just say white lives matter. Because I don't believe that if it was two white people, if it was Austin against another white kid, you would never tell the other white kid to allow Austin to put him in a crucifix. Even you would not let anybody put you in a crucifix. This is freaking jiu-jitsu. It is not a joke. These people are trained to kill people. And his father said he excelled at it. So you want his big ass gnarly legs to just grab you and twist you up in a freaking pretzel in the crucifix. That's okay to you? Just write white lives matter. Just say it. Oh, we wish the black kid would have died and the white boy would have been alive. That man, the boy knows freaking jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu. They both know jiu-jitsu. You would let somebody do this to you. Go sit down somewhere. Go freaking sit down somewhere. These are all crazy. They are really crazy. Another one. Look at this one.
The punch choke is a super underutilized choke in jiu-jitsu. So all it is you put your fist in their neck. Jesus. And especially it's good when they're driving into you, driving their weight into you, because they're driving their weight and their neck into your fist. So it makes it even more powerful. Wow. The punch choke is a super underutilized choke in jiu-jitsu. So all it is you put your fist in their neck like this. And especially it's good when they're driving into you, driving their weight into you, because they're driving their weight and their neck into your fist. So it makes it even more powerful. The punch.
So he should also allow Austin to do a stroke. This is acceptable to these white people, because no, don't touch my white son. Don't touch our white son, our white child, our white cherubim, right? Let him do whatever, you N-word, right? So he should just, somebody who knows the punch stroke, the crucifix, Karmelo should allow Austin to do a punch stroke in his throat. That's perfectly sensible for you crazy people. You are unbelievable. Just have the courage to say white lives matter. We're just mad because we feel as though the black kid should be dead and the white child should be alive. Just say it and then set yourself free. Stop being fake. Embrace your inner racist so we can move on with this. This is insanity. Because you would let somebody who knows jiu-jitsu to put you in a position where he can do a punch stroke on you? You never would. But a black child should be okay with that. If it's not the fact that you think that the lives of black people are beneath your lives. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. People who barely work 10,000 steps a day want to talk about what you should let somebody do to you. Go take off your goofy ass orthopedic shoes and leave me alone. Leave me alone. This is insanity. Okay, what about this one?
If I could tell my white belt self one thing to improve their guard, what I would tell myself is to use my feet, make sure I have connection with my feet at all times. So I can look many different ways. It can look like this, it can look like this, it can be here, wherever it is. I need to connect with my feet so I can control them. If I don't use my feet, say I'm here and I'm just like, she's got control of my feet. Now she can move my legs. I can't control her, and it's just no good. So if I use my feet, I can control her mobility and I can attack. So all these sweep submissions, they're based off of where you place your feet. Like here, right? I can sweep her like this using my feet. If she doesn't control my feet, I can lift my hips up, get to triangles, arm bars, all that kind of stuff. So where the feet go is so important. If I could tell my white belt self one thing to improve their guard, what I would tell myself is to use my feet, make sure I have connection with my feet at all times. So that can look many different ways. It can look like this, it can look like this, it can be here, wherever it is. I need to connect with my feet so I can control them. If I don't use my feet, say I'm here and I'm just like, she's got control of my feet. Now she can move my legs. I can't control her, and it's just no good. So if I use my feet, I can control her mobility and I can attack. So all these sweeps and
okay, and they have moves. Rico said 100%. They have moves in jiu-jitsu called sweeps and submission. So Austin is 225. Karmelo is 160. He should allow Austin to submit him. Like, he should allow Austin to put him into a submission, because you would let somebody do that to you. You would let someone who knows jiu-jitsu do that to your son or to yourself. Sweeps and submission, my lord. Crucifix, arm bar, choke punch, whatever it's called. Sweeps, submission. You would let someone do that to you. Go sit down somewhere. Like, go sit down somewhere. Like I said yesterday, I think some of you white people, the fact that Trump is president, it really has y'all feeling nostalgic. Like, y'all wish this was like 1925, that you could ascend into your final form of Klansmen and just ascend like wind in the dust in the wind and find your N-word to murder. You are insane. You really need help. You truly, truly need help. You need help. Like, you're really crazy. You would let someone who knows jiu-jitsu just wrap you up any kind of way and do whatever he wants to your body and just hope that he has mercy and he doesn't kill me. Yeah, right. That's how it works. Like, this is insanity. Jiu-jitsu? I know this is crazy. Okay? Job, they can do whatever they want, Kevin. This is insanity. This is really insanity. Jiu-jitsu? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, and my thing is, when you know, let me not forget, right? Like I said, here are his legs. And the man said, use your legs, use your legs. Look at his legs. Look at his legs. Now, let me show you Karmelo's legs. Hold on. Let me show you Karmelo's legs. Okay? Here, look. These people are crazy. These people are crazy. Here are Karmelo's legs. These are Karmelo's legs. Mosquito legs. Here are these legs. So he should let Austin with his thick ass, what's it called? Okay? Bam, gotta go. Gotta go. I don't have time for y'all. You come in here acting crazy, you gonna be going banned. I'm not gonna be nice to y'all. You can't sit here, you in black. You know what? You gonna see how it feels. You can't sit here, you in black. You gonna see how it feels. See how it feels when you're denied access based on the color of your skin. Come in here, act crazy. You're gonna be banned with the quickness. You're gonna be banned. Right? We're gonna do the same thing. You can't sit here, you in black. I'm gonna see how y'all like it. I'm gonna see how y'all like it. You Karmelo with his mosquito legs. He should just allow the Austin with his thick ass legs to put him in a freaking crucifix, submission, a sweep, a punch choke, whatever they do in freaking jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu. He knows jiu-jitsu, y'all. Okay? And the father said he excelled at jiu-jitsu. So you go. Hunter is still alive. Some of y'all like BDSM, right? 51 shades of gray. Like, some of you white people, you like this torturous business. Hunter is still alive. Go call Hunter and ask him to do stuff to y'all. Okay? Go and ask him to do stuff to y'all. Y'all crazy. You are really, really crazy. You cannot let someone that big who knows jiu-jitsu grab you, because they will not let go. They will not let go. You're going to go. You're going to be going. No. You're not wrapping me into a pretzel. You're not twisting me into a pretzel. You're not putting me in a crucifix. You're not putting me in a punch choke. You're not using your legs on me. You're not freaking doing no arm sweep, whatever, the triangle. None of that. You're not doing any of that to me. Are you crazy? Are you actually crazy? You probably are. Don't do it. Make sure y'all like the live, y'all. This is insanity. Let the Father say it again. Let the Father say it again. Crazy.
He is one of the most outstanding, him and his brother both have been athletes all their lives, from soccer to baseball to jiu-jitsu to football. They did it all, and they excelled every time. And I told them, you guys are so lucky, because not everyone has your talent, but you have to make sure you take that talent and harness it in the right way. And Austin was able to harness many things in his life.
Unfortunately, he wasn't when it came to patience. Okay? So let's get back over here, you guys. Okay? So I repeat, I'm going to say it again, because maybe I can stop this live and do another live about Judge Joe Brown. I have to see it because I still have time. Because I want this one to be very specific. Because I'm like, well, who conferred upon Austin the legal authority to evict anybody? Anyways, in Collin County, Texas, the eviction process typically starts with a 3-day notice to vacate. This notice must be in writing and clearly state the reason for the eviction, the deadline to vacate, and be delivered in a legally acceptable manner. Grabbing people, yelling at people, insulting people, and maybe even using racial slurs do not constitute legally acceptable manners, okay? If the tenant doesn't comply, the landlord can file an eviction suit in the Justice of Peace, JP Court, sure, whatever. Okay, then I also found this, because maybe I'm gonna stop this one and do another one, because I want to talk about Judge Joe Brown, because this man is triggering me, y'all. Judge Joe Brown is a hot mess. Is he a drunk? I don't know. Because he was saying, like, oh, the more that comes down, it sounds like Karmelo was trespassing. I'm like, you sound crazy. But anyways, y'all, let me read this quickly. I'm going to reread it again for the other live. But let me do this one. Okay? Okay, in Texas, criminal trespass is defined as entering or remaining on someone else's property without their effective consent and having notice. Notice. It means something specific, that entry is forbidden or a request to leave. This applies to both private and public property. Cool. Let's get going. Key element of criminal trespass in Texas: lack of consent. The person must enter or remain on the property without the owners or authorized person's permission. Key. But we'll save it for the other live. Notice, the trespasser must have been giving notice that entry is forbidden. Notice, it means something specific, that entry is forbidden, or must have received notice to leave and failed to do so. Notice can be given through various means, including verbal, written communication, fences, signs, purple paint marks. Okay. Intent. While some forms of criminal trespass require specific intent, the basic definition of criminal trespass in Texas Penal Code, Section 30.05, doesn't necessarily require intent to commit a crime. Okay. Example of a notice: or written communication from the owner or someone with apparent authority. Fencing other enclosures clearly designed to exclude intruders. For those who came in late, here is the venue. This is part of the stadium where everything took place. So take a picture, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. Gotta move, take a picture. Okay. Where am I? Okay. Fencing or enclosures. Okay. Having obvious fences or enclosures designed to keep people out. Signs. Posting visible no trespassing signs or similar notices. Once again, here's the venue. Do you see signs? Do you see purple paint? Look, look, look. Take a mental picture. Take a mental picture. Let's go. Right? Purple paint marks. Placing vertical lines of purple paint on a tree or a post, following specific requirement for size, placement, and spacing according to Texas Park Wildlife Department. All right, here's the venue. Look around, look around. Do you see purple paint? Okay, cool. Let's move. Let's go. Cultivated crops. Having visible crops growing for human consumption, especially if under cultivation or in the process of being harvested. Okay, using reasonable force, not deadly force. You are allowed to use force to prevent or terminate a trespass, but only if you reasonably believe it is necessary. Oh, there you go. Only if you reasonably believe it is necessary. Okay. Let Hunter talk to you all real quick. Hunter, come over. Here you go. Let's go. Let's do this.
If you don't mind what happened.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, you are allowed to use force to prevent or terminate a trespass, but only if you reasonably believe it's necessary. Was it necessary? No. It's raining. He's just sitting there. He's waiting out the rain. They're stealing. You being assaulted. Anything illegal going on? No. Okay. Deadly force is generally not permitted for trespassing alone. Okay. Reporting to law enforcement. If the trespasser refuses to leave after being given notice and you have used reasonable force, you may want to contact law enforcement. Did they ever call the police? No, of course. Okay, cool. Important consideration, consent exception. If the trespasser has your consent to be your property, they're not trespassing. Duty to retreat. In some situations, you may have a duty to retreat. Oh. So even Texas law, oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, white people. So even Texas law says, even if it's your property and there's a trespasser, you may be the one that actually has to retreat. Okay? You see this? We're going to teach a lot of these goofy whites that we are no longer in their muddy, lawless, wet, barbaric hamlets in England. We are in a first world country full of laws. Okay? So under Texas law, duty to retreat. In some situations, you, the legal owner, you may have the duty you may have a duty to retreat before using force, especially if you are not in immediate danger. Oh, Lord Jesus. Sounds amazing to my ears. I repeat, in some situations, you, the legal owner, may have a duty to retreat before using force, especially if you are not in immediate danger. Okay. All right. Once again, here's the venue. Here are the tents. It happened here somewhere because the knife is here. Right? Okay. All right. Was Hunter or anybody under threat? No. Were they in imminent danger? No. Let him say it again. Oh, Lord. My head hurts. I need a break after this. I really do. I'm exhausted.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay. You've heard Hunter. He was actually there. Was he under threat? Was he in any imminent danger? Did he fear for his life? Did he feel like mosquito leg Karmelo was going to do something to him? These people are crazy. They are so damn crazy. Okay, let me show you a full body picture of Karmelo. Okay, Karmelo, come here. Come here, nephew. Hold on. Okay, here is Karmelo. Okay, here's Karmelo. Right? Now, this is just, oh, Lord, racism. It's something, huh? This is Karmelo. Look at Karmelo, y'all. Look at his legs, y'all. Right? Look at his legs. Cool. You see that, right? Cool. Now, let me show you. What am I showing you again? Let me go. Okay, hold on. Look at Karmelo. Hold on. I'll be right there. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. Now, look at Austin. Number 11. Look at his legs. Hold on. Let me do it again. Stop sharing. Let me add to the stage. Where am I? Oh, no. Yeah, let me add to the stage. Sorry about that. Right? And then let me share my screen. Okay. So this is Austin's legs. Here are his legs. Y'all see this? I want y'all to see his build. Here are his legs. Oh, Lord. Racism is something else. Where's my thing? Okay. Austin's legs. Karmelo's legs. Let me zoom in. Okay. Let me zoom in. Karmelo's legs. Let me get out of here. Karmelo's legs. Look at the legs, y'all. Make it bigger. Look at the legs. Look at his legs. Just his legs. Look at his legs. Okay. Here is Austin, number 11. Let me come out a bit. Let me come out. Okay. This is Austin, right? Cool. Look at his legs. These people are crazy. And they want somebody with legs this big to put your ass in a crucifix. They are crazy. They are seriously crazy. Okay? They are seriously crazy. They are crazy. Right? All right. Now, let's go back. Let's go back to here. Duty to retreat, even if you're removing someone that you think, for even in the case of trespassing. Okay? In some situations, you, the assumed owner, the presumed owner, right? Presumed owner, quotation mark. You may have a duty to retreat before using force. Are they saying the trespasser has a duty to retreat? No. They're saying the presumed owner has a duty to retreat before using force, especially if you are not in immediate danger. Was anybody there in danger? No. Was anybody facing imminent danger? No. What was Karmelo doing? He was sitting, and somehow a bunch of white boys felt threatened or uncomfortable because a black boy was sitting under their tent. In some situations, you may have a duty to retreat before using force, especially if you are not in immediate danger. It's always best to consult with a legal professional if you have any questions or concern about trespass law in Texas. Okay? So you're not in danger, and even if you are, okay? Even before using force, you may have a duty to retreat. So they're telling you as the owner of the property, you may have a duty to retreat. They're not saying the trespasser has a duty to retreat. No. And how can you get away from somebody holding you and your back and punching you? Okay? Karmelo at that point saw he needed to use force. They know damn well he needed to use force. But since they want to play dum-dum, we're all going to play dum-dum. Okay? Okay? So let Hunter say it again. Oh, Lord Jesus. This is just crazy. Let Hunter say it again. Let him say it again. Hold on.
There was this kid.
And I think that's why he even called him a kid, because he's so skinny, right? Karmelo's really, really skinny. So I can see why he even referred to him as a kid. I'm like, yeah, I can see why he thought he was a kid. So if you thought he's a kid, then why are you doing all this? Why are you, your brother, and your friends doing all this? This kid. Because you recognize he has a small frame. That's why you call him this kid. You just told this other teenager, he said this kid. Your language is everything. Language is everything. There was this kid. Why? Because Karmelo does not look 17. He doesn't look 17. He doesn't look 17. If you didn't know that boy was 17, you think he's like 14 or 15. He doesn't look his age. Right? So even on top of that too, it lets you know they're bullies. They're a bunch of bullies. Right? Because they said, exactly. They have the burden of proof. Right? They said this, he said the kid was sitting there. Exactly. Not roaming, not stealing, not causing a scene. He was sitting there. Karmelo's crime was being black under an all-white tent. That's it. Nobody was aggressed. Nobody was playing loud music, especially drill music. Nobody was being disrespectful. Nobody was even destroying the tent, burning the tent, peeing on the tent, scratching the tent. No, he said this kid, because I'm sure he realized he's a lot smaller than us. He didn't say this other teenager, this other student. He could have said teenager. He could have said student from another school. He said this kid, because even you, if you didn't know Karmelo's age, you would think he was 14 or 15. He looks very young. No, he is 17. He's 17. Okay, got a baby face. He looks a lot younger. So even he thinks it's a kid. So my thing is, if you think it's a kid, then why are you doing all this? Because they're bullies. They're a bunch of bullies. They are a bunch of bullies. And I said yesterday, Hunter started all of this. And if he does not want to come forth and tell the truth, wants to lie to his mama, lie to his daddy, lie to the public, he gonna get charged with this. He is going to get charged with this because he started all of this. And listen carefully to his language. I would also say pay close attention to his eyes, because every time Hunter lies, his eyes start going all kinds of places. He doesn't look you straight in the face. Okay? Okay? So let's even get this. So let's go back to the video. Let him say it again. Say it again, Hunter. We want to hear this. Say it again.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay. Was anybody in, like, when from the start of this, is anybody in imminent danger? No, he's just sitting there. Okay. So why are you using force? I'm so confused. And I asked the question early, right? When I started the live. I said, who owns this tent? Here's their tent, because they go to Memorial High School. So here's the tent, right? This is the Memorial High School tent. I asked earlier. Exactly. In the rain. In the rain. And I'm going to play this video for those who came in late.
So the sheriff or constable will post the writ of possession on the property. This is to inform the tenant that they have 24 hours to vacate the premises with their belongings. And once those 24 hours are up, the sheriff or constable is allowed to remove the tenant by force. If the tenant refuses, they will be arrested. Now there's a little caveat here. So the sheriff and constable are not allowed to remove the tenant if there is bad weather. So this includes things like rain, sleet, or snow.
Okay. So if there's bad weather, they can't even move, a sheriff can even move you. And what is bad weather? Rain, sleet, or snow. Let's go.
If this happens, they must wait for better weather before taking the tenant outside of the property. So
okay. Because even when you are evicting someone, you have to still think about their well-being. You can't, their well-being and their property. Because the issue is, I just don't want you here because you haven't paid your rent. No, I haven't done that yet, right? You haven't paid your rent, you're on your rent, cool. But you can evict the person. That does not give you the right to cause them harm or to destroy their property. That's why you can't do it in the rain and the sleet, because if you put their stuff out on the lawn and it rains, you're destroying their property. That's not the point of the eviction. So when you even grab Austin grabs Karmelo, grabs his bag, and you throw it in the rain, you throw whatever. You can't even do that. That's his property. And I said this as my first live. You can't just grab somebody's book bag and just throw it in the rain, throw it against concrete, throw wherever you see fit. Right? You, Rebecca, you want to get attention from me. You will not. I'm not going to give you attention, girl. You're crazy. I'm wasting my time with you. Okay? You cannot do stuff like this. Even the sheriff can't even do stuff like this. That's why I told you, if they had even gone to a police officer, no, you're not. No, you're not getting my attention. No. I'm just letting you know, like, girl, bye. Oh, no, whatever. But attention means I'm not going to give the effort to actually read your stuff and like respond back to you. That's what I mean. Miss Dum Dum, you're a little slow too, huh? You have a GI Bill also. Anyways, right? So if they had even gone to get a police officer in the rain, even the police officer wouldn't have asked Karmelo to move in the rain, right? Keep playing these games. Keep playing these games. Y'all think I'm gonna be cute with y'all. You don't go to this school. You don't go here. Keep playing these games, y'all. Keep playing these games. You're going to get things you don't like. Keep playing these games. You don't go to the school. I'm going to give y'all exactly what y'all want. Y'all want segregation? I will give it to you. Keep playing with me. Why some of you white people, you think wherever you show up, you have eminent domain. Not over here, Babel. Y'all make sure you like the live. Make sure you like the live. She's banned. Go create another account and then show up. Play the game, get banned all over again. Hey, Queen. Do you go here? Is this your tent? Do you go to my school? Are you black? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. She's gone. I banned her. She gonna go get another account. She gonna go create another account and come back. I banned. This account is banned. Oh, I'm not playing with these people. Okay. So if they even hadn't got a police officer, he would have said, okay, just wait for the rain to stop. Then you can ask him to leave, because the police officer also wouldn't have asked Karmelo to leave in the rain. And it makes sense, because if he tells Karmelo to move and then Karmelo gets hurt, who's going to get sued? You see? The boy was sitting there. The boy is sitting there. He's not hurt. You come over as a police officer. You tell the young man to move, even though he's not breaking the law. He's not bothering any people. He's just seeking shelter. Now, if the boy moves and then he falls, he trips, who gonna be sued? Because that's what they call gross negligence. These people are just so slow. This is what you call gross negligence, right? So what do you do as a police officer? You can either stay there, you can sit there, supervise, and then once the rain is over, it's okay, young man, do you want to move? And that also depends. Is it wet? Is it too wet? Because I said, what kind of shoes was he wearing? Right? Because also, I said this before, if Karmelo was wearing his cleats, because it matters. What kind of shoes he was wearing also matters. If Karmelo is sitting there wearing his cleats, y'all, in the rain, he is safe. Everybody is safe. Nobody's injured. Even you as a police officer, you're not going to ask him to move. Because God forbid something happens to this kid, you're going to get sued. You're going to get sued. Because it's gross negligence. Even if the rain stops. Just because the rain stopped does not mean that it's dry enough for him to start walking. Because then I will ask you, you asked him to move once the rain stopped. But what shoes was he wearing? And also, did you assess the ground for safety? You tell me, no, I am suing you. Ooh. Right? Because otherwise, that is gross negligence. Because not only does the rain have to stop, the ground has to be dry enough for him to walk safely to his tent. Do you guys get me? Otherwise, it is gross negligence. I am suing you. I am suing the police department. Do you get me? I hope you understand me. Right? There you go. That's why even when it snows, even when it snows, right? School will be like, okay, they'll give a 2-hour delay. Why? Because it's not enough for the snow to stop. The snow has to melt. The people have to clear it up, and they got to add the salt. Then the young people then they can walk to the bus stop. Because when kids are at the bus stop and they go to school, they come back from school and they're at the bus stop. The school is responsible for these people. And that's why sometimes they rather not have school at all because it's a lawsuit. No, I didn't play the witness statement. We could do another video for that. I want to do this one for this topic. I'm going to do like one video per topic so it's not all over the place. You know what I'm saying? She said, maybe these people need to get, she's going to say, these people do need to fight for these manufacturing jobs. Okay. They're truly remedial. All right. So the police officer is he doing anything wrong? No. Then you have to stop. He can sit. Let him sit. What's the problem? Right? What's the problem? Right? That's why I said when I started the live, I said, who gave Austin or Hunter the legal authority to remove anybody? Who gave Austin and Hunter the legal authority? Let me put their pictures up. Hold on. Let me put their pictures up because that really matters. Where are they? Hold on. Let me find them. They're right here, right? Okay. Right here. Okay. Oh, no. My bad. Share this tab. Make it bigger. Okay. Let's go all the way back when I first started the live. Okay. I had a few questions, y'all. Where are my questions? Okay. Number one, I said, who owns the tent? Right? Because Hunter said he was sitting under our tent. But as you can see, this is the school's tent. So my thing is, so I asked the question, who owns the tent? This is not their private property. It's the school's property. Number two, who conferred upon Austin the authority to engage in a forceful eviction under the rain? I don't know. Okay. Who owns the bleachers? Who owns the bleachers? Right. So here's what's his name? This is Austin and Hunter. 33 is Austin. 35 is Hunter. I repeat, who conferred upon Austin the authority to engage in a forceful eviction under the rain? Right? Number three, who owns the bleachers? Who owns the bleachers? Okay. Number four, what legal authority, y'all, what legal authority did Hunter, Austin, and anyone else from Memorial High School have to even ask Karmelo to move in the rain? Right? 5, does one set of 15-year-old athletes have more legal authority over a 17-year-old athlete simply because he goes to a different school? Okay. Then Thomas said, because Thomas is gone, but Thomas said, what is the policy of the school where the event was held in regards to violence and bullying? So I said, you should look it up, Thomas. So he went and looked it up. He said, standards for student conduct. Each student is expected to obey all campus and classroom rules, respect the property of others. So if Karmelo is just sitting there, he's not touching the tent, he's not burning the tent, he's not keying the tent, he's not peeing on the tent, he's not touching anybody's stuff, he's respecting their property. When Austin, here we go, right? Let's see right here, right? When Austin proceeds to grab Karmelo's backpack, he's already in violation of what? The rules. Standards for student conduct. Each student is expected to obey all campus and classroom rules, respect the property of others, including district property and facilities. So who violated, okay, the code of conduct here? Austin. Okay. The district has disciplinary authority over students, not Austin, not Hunter. During the regular school day, while student is traveling on district transportation and at any school-related activity, regardless of time or location. Okay. Students shall not coerce an individual to act through the use of threat or force, fight or scuffle, engage in bullying, cyberbullying, or harassment. These are the rules for the school for which the event was held. And maybe I'll do a separate line for this. So let me read everything that Thomas found, okay? Thomas asked, what is the policy of the school where the event was held in regards to violence, bullying? I think you should look it up, right? Standards for students' conduct. Each student is expected to obey all campus and classroom rules, respect the property of others, including district property and facilities. The district has disciplinary authority over a student, not another student over another student. You're all students. During the regular school day, while the student is traveling on district transportation or at any school-related activity, regardless of time or location. Okay? Students shall not coerce an individual to act through the use of threat or force, fight or scuffle, engage in bullying, cyberbullying, and harassment. These are the rules for the school for which the event was held. Austin is guilty, okay? And what do you say? And that, Marlene, is just based on the rules of conduct at the school for which the event was held, okay? So let Hunter tell you what happened again. And then we go tomorrow. I'll make another live to talk about the code of conduct and who broke the code of conduct. Hunter and Austin. This is why they are the aggressors. They are the aggressors. Let him say it again. What happened? Hunter, speak.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. He's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
Okay. So who broke the law? Who broke the code of conduct? Who is in violation here? Okay. All right. Let me repeat this again. You know, I see why Dr. Umar does this stuff. Okay. Thomas asked, what is the policy of the school where the event was held with regards to violence and bullying? Standards for conduct. Each student is expected to obey all campus and classroom rules, respect the property of others, including district property and facilities. The district has disciplinary authority over a student, not Hunter, not Austin, and whoever else was along for this gang activity. Okay? During the school day, while the student is traveling on district transportation at any school-related activity, regardless of time or location. Okay? Students shall not coerce an individual to act through the use of threat or force. Who did that? Hunter. Who did that? Austin. My brother said, you got to move. What the heck? or scuffle, engage in bullying, cyberbullying, harassment. And they're bullies because they're bigger, and there's 2 of them. Karmelo is 160. Austin is 225. They're like, that's like what, a 65-pound difference, right? The brother 2 might be 225. 2 versus 1. Both of you guys, you have an extra 60-pound plus on this boy. What do you want? You're being bullies. It is raining. Nobody is under imminent threat or danger. Why does he have to move in the rain? For what reason? You're being a bunch of bullies. Now let what's it called? Let ABL say it again. Let ABL say it again.
So look, let me just say this before we get back to the video. I'm sitting under a tent at a high school track meet because it's raining. There's no assigned seats at a high school track meet. If you come up to me and tell me to move, you're trying to bully me.
Let him say it again. Oh, crap.
Seats at a high school track meet.
Unbelievable.
Let me just say this before we get back to the video. I'm sitting under a tent at a high school track meet because it's raining. There's no assigned seats at a high school track meet. If you come up to me and tell me to move, you're trying to bully me.
Okay. Let him say it again. Oh, geez, Louise. Say it again.
Before we get back to the video. I'm sitting under a tent at a high school track meet because it's raining. There's no assigned seats at a high school track meet. If you come up to me and tell me to move, you're trying to bully me.
Okay. Here is the venue. These are bleachers. There are no assigned seats. There are bleachers. This is your school's tent. It's not even your private property. And I'm pretty sure if the principal of the school, if the assistant principal of Memorial High School had been there, had they even both been there, principal, assistant principal, and what's it called? Karmelo was looking for refuge under the rain, they wouldn't have had a problem with that. Yeah, you can sit here, right? They wouldn't have had a problem with that. They're all students, as long as you behave correctly. But yeah, sit here, wait the rain out. It's not a big deal. Even the principal wouldn't have had an issue. What principal, what high school, even not even high school, elementary school, middle school, it doesn't matter. What high school principal do you know that if one student from a different school is in need of refuge to wait the rain, oh no, you can't sit here, walk in the rain. Who will do that? What assistant principal do you know would even do that? Team too much because they're a bunch of bullies. Let him say it again one more time. Let's go.
Let me just say this before we get back to the video. I'm sitting under a tent at a high school track meet because it's raining. There's no assigned seats at a high school track meet. If you come up to me and tell me to move, you're trying to bully me. I say, hey, don't touch me. I'm reaching in the bag. Don't touch me. That's a warning right there. You know, I
did something. Hold on. Sorry, that's me.
Let's say this before we get back to the video. I'm sitting under a tent at a high school track meet because it's raining. There's no assigned seats at a high school track meet. If you come up to me and tell me to move, you're trying to bully me. I say,
okay. All right. So now, here's what it said. The code says students shall not coerce an individual to act through the use of threat or force. Austin grabbed his backpack. Fight or scuffle, engage in bullying. It's bullying. Cyberbullying or harassment. Harassment. Okay. Now, let me get back to all your comments here real quick. Okay. Yeah, I missed y'all's comment. Okay. Community field is taxpayers field. Karmelo and his school were invited to participate in the event being held. Okay. No, this is what I get it why Dr. Umar like repeats stuff over and over and over again. Community, it's public. It really is a shame. But you have to. You really, really have to. Facts. Austin was too young and ignorant and in a bully rage mentally to not throw a student out in the rain from a school taxpayer temporary shelter. People like he didn't pay for this. They didn't pay for this. Nobody paid for this. Okay. Like this is crazy. This is really, really crazy. Even if you go to another school, you guys, let's say like it's really, really hot. Because it's Texas, like let's say it's really hot, like it's scorching hot. And then there's one team that has extra bottles of water. You can't even walk over there to ask for extra water because you don't go to their school. They're not going to give you a bottle of water because you don't go to their school. Do they even hear themselves? All of this is coded language for you're black. That's it. Let's even say like they had what's it called? They had a cooler, like a giant cooler with like some kind of drinks in there, cool drinks in there. And he said, "Hey, you guys, can I please have a drink? Or I forgot my water bottle. Can I have something to drink?" They're like, "Oh no, we can't give you a drink because you don't go to our school." Yeah, because he's black. Nobody is buying any of this. Go feed that to somebody else. Go feed it to the migrants. Nobody in their right mind is buying any of this. The issue here is that he is a black boy who sat under a tent with white children. And the white kids did not want the black boy to sit next to them. That's it. No property was being damaged. Nobody was being harassed. There was no illegal activity going on. No, the crime was being black under a white tent. Okay. You see what I'm trying to say? That's it. That's it. Because next it would have been like, "Oh, he was thirsty and he asked us for water, but he don't go to our school." This whole "he don't go to our school" stuff, it's just coded language for they're black. That's it. Right? Because for me, I would assume people that are 17, about to be 18, you've played sports all of your life. Okay? You get to that age, you should know how to make friends. You should know how to be accommodating. You should know how to be hospitable. And most importantly, you should know how to display good sportsmanship. And my question is, for their dad to say, "Oh, they were such great athletes and this and that." What great athlete would do such a thing? What great athlete, what great leader will tell any other person, especially who was 60 pounds smaller, "You have to leave in the rain"? That doesn't add up. Because they want to sell an image of this white kid or these white children. They're not nice people. Nice people don't do this. Nice people, even if they might feel a bit like weird because they don't know you, they will step up to you, introduce themselves, and ask your name. Nice people are not going to want to see you just walking in the rain just because, even though you're not bothering anybody. Go feed that crap to somebody else. We're not believing this. We are not believing any of this. This is coded language for "you are black, we don't want you here." And so Austin proceeds to grab the backpack and forcefully remove Karmelo, which he does not have any legal authority to do. This school tent, Memorial High School tent, is not even his personal property. It's not even his private property. It belongs to the school. It belongs to his school. Doesn't belong to him. Doesn't belong to Hunter. It does not belong to any of them. Does he have a receipt? Proof of purchase? Right? No. Does not belong to you. Even you as a student, you are allowed to use it too because you're also a student. And my thing is, whether you go to Memorial High School or you go to whatever high school, you guys are all living in Collin County. So all of your schools are getting their funding from the same purse. If this is a Collin County high school track meet, you are all receiving every school, Centennial High School for Karmelo, Memorial High School for Austin and Hunter. These are public schools. So they are all receiving their money from the same purse. Even the mayor of Collin County is over the superintendent, right? Yeah. So everybody can enjoy this because you are all students of Collin County, Texas, right? So you don't have more rights at a tent because you go to that school. No, you both belong. All of y'all belong to the same school district, you dum-dum. You're really slow, you know. One school district, many high school. And the purse is the same purse. Right? The district has a purse. They give everybody money to buy these tents. So I even feel like saying, as long as you are a Collin County public school student, you can enjoy the tent. Because everybody's parents contributed to this. This is taxpayers' money. This is these are what's called property tax money. Right? Karmelo's parents, they have a house. They pay property taxes. Your parents, they're divorced. I guess they both have houses. They pay property taxes. And other parents, they all pay taxes. That money is put together, and then every high school gets some money. So all of y'all, your parents paid you this tent. Maybe Karmelo's parents, their money went to paying that tent. And then even Centennial High School, maybe your parents too, their money went to paying for that tent. Because you are all under the same school district. So that's why this is why I even feel like every student can enjoy the tent, because you are all Collin County students. You just simply go to different high school, but you all belong to who? Collin County School District. Wumpty wump wump. So it's not your tent. Like at the bigger scale, it is a Collin County School District tent. So therefore, every student that belongs to the Collin County School District can sit there, especially if it's raining, snowing, sleet, I don't know, scorching sun, who cares? Right? Sitting there, somebody sitting in the rain is not a threat to you. That is crazy. That's really, really crazy. That is really, really crazy. Right? And even per Texas law, in some situations, you may have a duty to retreat before using force, especially if you are not in immediate danger. Nobody was in danger until you and your brother and whoever else decided to make an issue out of a non-issue. Now people are grabbing people making threats to people, and all of this in the rain, surrounded by metal bleachers with sharp corners and concrete steps. This is very dangerous, you know? Because how did Ivana Trump die? On July 14, 2022, age 73, Ivana died of blunt impact injuries to the torso after falling down the stairs at her home on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Okay? So if you can die from falling down the stairs, imagine what can happen to you or anybody who gets pushed down a flight of concrete steps. So from the blue tarmac all the way down here, imagine what could happen to a person. Someone could really, really die. And that's why we don't do all this pushing and shoving at a freaking stadium, completely out of order, for a tent that you don't own. Unbelievable. This is really crazy. Okay? That's just crazy. That's, to me, like, that is just crazy. This is just crazy. And this is why I said first degree murder charge, ridiculous. Self-defense, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Self-defense, absolutely. Because Marlene, I would have done the same thing Karmelo did. I would have done the same thing that Karmelo did, you guys. I'm not even playing. I would have done the same thing. You're not about to twist my behind into a damn pretzel. You're not going to twist me into a pretzel. It's not going to happen. Okay? I will not be twisted. No crucifix, no punch, whatever they say, choke punch, I don't know, whatever. No submission, no sweep, arm lock. You're not doing any of this to me because I'm not hurting you. And I don't even deserve this. I don't deserve this. Sitting under a tent, awaiting the rain. Nobody deserves this kind of treatment. Nobody deserves this kind of treatment, especially at a school event from other students who also play sports. You always have to display great sportsmanship. This is insanity. This is insanity. This is truly insanity. Like I said, I do believe that for some people, because Trump is back in office, they believe that they have the right to do whatever they want to do, put their hands on people, grab people, and somehow they're not going to have to face any consequences. No, Trump is in office to fix the economy, I guess, turn Canada into the 51st state, find Greenland, market manipulation, I don't know. Okay? So it's not happening. Do not put your hands on people. Especially if you have no authority to even ask somebody to leave. You don't own the tent. You don't own the bleachers. You're a fellow student. You're 17. What makes you think that you have authority or even legal authority over another 17-year-old? Are you actually okay? Don't even try to go reach the adults. No, because you think you're going to take care of it. You're not an adult. You are 17. Like we say, stay in a child's place. You don't push people. You don't shove people, grab their property, throw it in the rain. People could have their computers in there, their iPhones in there, their medication in there, their clothes in there. Who are you to grab somebody's book bag and throw it in the rain? What gives you the right to do that? Who gave you the legal authority to do that? You're out of order. You are truly, truly out of order. So once again, I repeat, if I was Karmelo, I would have done the same thing. Out of order. 9 o'clock in the morning, it's too early for this. If you're not a morning person, stay in your bed. The way Tabitha Brown says it, if you're not having a good day, don't go around ruining somebody else's day. You're not a morning person, stay in bed. You don't like black people, don't come outside. Just because you're having a bad day does not mean that you get to ruin somebody else's day. Check yourself, check your emotions, and check your triggers. Check your triggers, y'all. Check your triggers before you leave your house. But nobody, if your parents put up with that, if your mom puts up with that, your dad puts up with that, your family puts up with that, that is the problem. Strangers don't have to put up with your mood swings. Strangers don't have to put up with your anger, your violence, your racism. They don't have to. Nobody owes you anything. Do it to your mother. Do it to your father. If they want to receive the brunt of your abuse, that's on them. If you're not a morning person, stay home. You don't like black people, stay home. Don't even like people, period. Stay home. Don't like the rain, stay home. Okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're full of it. I ran track in high school and played football. We used to always go on the opposite team area after the game because we had friends on the other team. We never had an issue. Of course, they're lying. They know damn well they're lying. Our tent, you don't go to our school. It's just them trying to say he's not black. He's black. They don't want to say it out loud. They want to do covert racism. No, own it. Stop hiding that you're racist. They know dang what person do you know went to one high school and all their friends only came from the high school they went to? That makes no sense. Okay? What person do you know that went to high school and all of their friends just went straight to the same high school? That is not even possible. Especially when young people have cars, they make friends all over from parties, doing games, playing games together. People are there. That makes no sense. Oh, I went to Fairfax High School and all my friends are only from Fairfax High School. Oh, I went to Centennial High School. I only have friends at Centennial High School. Oh, I went to Memorial High School. I only have friends at Memorial High School. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Doing foolishness. Especially when you see this picture, huh? Where's that picture, y'all? I have it here. This one, because it is kind of weird that this is like his profile picture on his page. Hold on, it's kind of weird because of all the pictures he could have chosen for his highlight page. Like, why would you choose that as your profile picture? That's so bizarre. Like, your profile picture is you grabbing on a black player. Suspicious. Very, very suspicious. Of all the pictures he could have posted, he chose this picture to be his profile picture on his highlight page. Suspicious, y'all. Okay? Like I said, you're racist, stay home. You're not a morning person, stay home. Don't like the rain, stay home. Don't like people, stay home. You don't like kids from other schools, stay home. Why are you an athlete if you don't like people from other schools? Somebody going to another school. Somebody going to another school. Somebody even being on an opposing team does not make them an enemy. You know what I'm saying? I think with a lot of white people, like when they don't, I don't know, when they're competing with you, you're an enemy. Oh, China is our enemy. How can China be your enemy when you're always buying from China? Like, you make no sense, right? They think, oh, if we're competing, then we're enemies. No, calm down. You can compete with someone and not be enemies, right? There's a thing called friendly competition, you know. It's like, oh no, you go to a different school, you're an opposing team, so therefore you're my enemy. Is that how people look at sports? From baseball to football to hockey to basketball or whatever's out there, even swimming. Is that how people look at sports? In professional sports, in the world of professional sports, is that really how people look at sports? Like, oh, if you are an opposing enemy, opposing team, you're my enemy. Really though? That is, I've never heard of this before. Even people in the NBA, they play like, look at, for example, Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan, they're friends, even though they played against each other. There's so many professional basketball players who have played against each other, and after the game, they're all best friends. They're all best friends. Michael Jordan played against Magic Johnson. They're friends. Michael Jordan played against Charles Barkley. They're friends. They go golfing. Right? You can have friendly competition. Yeah, I want to win, but I don't want to kill you, nor do I hate you. It's like that. This is insanity. Oh no, you go to a different school. You're on an opposing team. You're my enemy. What? Where'd you learn this, you barbarian? Where did you learn this? This is so crazy. I mean, this is just so crazy. Now, before I go, I'm gonna play this video again before I go. Okay, so let's go.
People who were not very cultured.
It's over.
When I was growing up, whites were called white folks. I mean, it was one word. They were white folks. And people who were not very cultured, who had no pretensions to the niceties of the world, called them po white trash. That was one word also. It seemed to me, we blacks, we Negroes, we colored folks were humans. And white folks were those others. They were other than. And as a child, I was certain that white folks didn't have innards. They were all, their bodies, their heads and their bodies were empty, that you could put your hand on a white folks and your hand would go right through them. That was my belief. They seemed so different. They walked differently. Every action from white folks was an action of disrespect, cruelty, scorn. So they couldn't be just. Now, mind you, I read about white people in other places, and I believed them. I was a fond reader of Charles Dickens, and so I wept with the children and laughed with the Micawber and Oliver. I mean, I've in fact read Horatio Alger Jr. And I was that little white boy. I understood him. I understood being lonely and deprived and almost forced upon one's own resources, which were negligible, if at all. But I didn't connect those people with white folks. I just didn't. There were women who worked as maids for white folks, and they would bring laundry over into the black area, and they would stop at my grandmother's store quite often and put the baskets down. And I wanted so to go through those. You know, what kind of things did they have? But the only venturing into our area by white folks took place when people would come over to pick up cotton pickers. Cotton pickers used to gather in the clearing in front of our store. And the white folks would come over either in trucks or wagons and pick up the cotton pickers. And one could see them then. I could see them. And they talked. They didn't have what the West Africans in Senegal, the Serer and Tukulur, call la langue douce, the sweet language. I never heard white folks use sweet language, and I always heard Black people use it. So the sweet language was a language dependent entirely upon tone, and even the lengthening out of a word. So if I spoke the sweet language to you in the South, instead of saying, hi there, how are you? I say, hey, how you doing? Well, I never heard white folks use sweet language, and I heard Black people use it all the time, even though they didn't call it that. You simply did it. Okay,
and let me show you exactly what she means, and I'm gonna stop this live right here. I'll probably do another one. I'll probably do it's getting late. Y'all gonna get tired. I'll do the Judge Joe Brown one tomorrow. But when she said that white folks don't use sweet language, here we are. Let's close with this one. Unbelievable.
You were there.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. He's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
There you go. It's raining. A child's sitting there. You got to move. You got to move. That's what she said. She never heard white folks use the sweet language. Somebody in the master said, this was like 5-6 decades ago. And I say, yeah. And have things changed? Right? So who's the problem here? Have things changed, right? Maya Angelou, like, you know, that was like she was the kid, like, who knows when that happened? Like 6, 7, 8 decades ago, what do I know? But the fact that we are in 2025 and a Black child is seeking refuge under a tent full of white student and he's not even welcome. You got to move. You got to move. My brother stepped in. Say, you got to move. Austin grabbed his backpack. That's exactly what she's referring to. That white folks, when she was growing up, did not speak the sweet language. Because a sweet language would have been like, hey, what's your name? I'm Austin. I'm Hunter. Where'd you go to school? Do you run? Da-da-da-da-da, right? Like you just make friends with people. You know? You make friends with people. He might be a cool guy. You might be cool. Y'all might even play Minecraft or whatever you people play on the social media. What do I know? You might even like the same live streamers. You never know what you have in common with people. You obviously like sports, so you have sports in common, but you can say, hey, I'm Austin, hey, I'm Hunter. Do you run? Okay, how fast you go? Okay, cool. What'd you bench press? Oh, God, I got you. It can even be like a little chisme, like a little banter back and forth. Okay, I see you outside. I see you. I'll smoke you, like stuff like that. You know, everybody you know in your life, you've always known these people. No, at one point, they were perfect strangers to you, right? At one point, everybody you know in your life, right? At one point, everybody you know in your life was a perfect stranger, but you made an effort to introduce yourself. You made an effort to build a relationship. Not their friends, their colleagues, their fellow athletes, whatever. Just introduce yourself. It's a track meet. Nobody is there to hurt anybody. People are just there to compete and have a good time. Have a good time. Like what? Like at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm still confused. Like, what is this? Seriously, what is this? Oh, you're driving? Okay. Yeah, things haven't changed. You know what I mean? Like things have not really changed. And that's what she was saying. Like they don't have the sweet language. All you have to do is approach people in a friendly manner. You're going to get a good response out of people. You accost people with the wrong energy, the wrong frequency, like the wrong vibe and stuff. Like, it's crazy. There is no need for this. There's no need for this. And it's funny how he did not mention that it was raining because even he knows it's extra. Because if he said, oh, this kid was sitting there while it was raining, then they're not going to get the sympathy they're looking for because they got a GoFundMe that they need to raise the money for. Right? That's crazy, y'all. But I repeat, you guys, self-defense. If it was me, I would have done the same thing. Two brothers or two big-ass sisters, they're about to walk up to me when all I'm doing is sitting here. Okay? And you know jiu-jitsu, you're not about to fold my behind into a pretzel. I will not be folded like this or like this. You're not doing all that to me. You're not going to do that to me. Okay? It's excessive. It's extremely excessive. You don't like people, stay home. You're not a morning person, stay home. You don't like blacks, stay home. Just stay to yourself. But just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean that you get to ruin somebody else's day. Okay? So with that being said, you guys, the live's going to stop here. Thank you for coming out. Egyptian, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm rich. Okay? Thank you so much, you guys. I will see you tomorrow for Judge Joe Brown part 2, because he's talking about trespassing. This dude is insane. I'm like, is he having like early signs of dementia? I don't know. But we'll be outside tomorrow to talk about Judge Joe Brown, okay? Enjoy your evening. Hey, Queen, you've been quiet the whole time. But enjoy your evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Love y'all. Bisous, bisous. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye, my peoples. Gotta go. I'm tired. Bye-bye.